Completing the smaller leg of the chapter so that we can come to the balance ones. We are in page number 186, which talks about income which does not form part of total income. Yes, we are into exemptions basically. We are into exemptions. Let's first understand what is the difference between an exemption and a deduction. Please understand, people, when it comes to deduction, it is something which is allowed. It is something which is allowed. Exempted is something which is directly removed off. Okay, which means something which does not even form part of the sheet itself is called as exemptions, and something which forms part and then you claim it is called as deductions. Yes, exemptions are generally only for an income. Yeah, negative income meaning loss, that also is exempted. But it is only for an income. But whenever it comes to a deduction, it is for your income as well as expense. A simple example, meaning whatever you pay will be called as expense, correct? But if you go to chapter 6a, you have something called as 80, QQB, RRB, TTA, TTB. All these cases, what we have told, it is a deduction of income. So it can be both income or a expense. Either way it can work. The next rule is that, boss, when it comes to exemption, there should be an income for you to exempt it. But when it comes to deduction, there is no such rule. Even if you don't have an income, you can have a loss, correct or not? It is might as well possible that, boss, you have not even earned an income this year. For example, dividends. You have not even earned a dividend, but can you have an interest expense? Possible, definitely possible. So it is not required that you have an income for you to have a deduction, exemption. But when it comes to deduction, you're mandatory required to have something for the purpose of claiming a deduction. Yes or no? These are what the examples are. Coming to the what is important from exam perspective, nothing is important except for the first item, called as amount received from a member of HF. Any amount you receive from a member of HF will become exempt from taxes. Next one, amount received from partner or partnership firm. Partner or partnership firm? Firm. Any amount received from a firm by the partner is exempt. Any amount received from the firm by the partner is exempt from taxes. Yes. Apart from that, you can just take this note also. I think this has come in question once, where it says that any kind of interest income which is earned on an NRE account. Basically, who are having an NRE account? Anyone who has an NRE account. What is NRE account? Non-resident external account. If there is any kind of income which is earned from the NRE account, it is assumed it is outside India. Therefore, they are exempting it from taxes. Apart from that, you can ignore everything else. Apart from that, you can ignore everything else. Everything else is a simple logic. Use the C word. If you don't understand the word, it is exempt from taxes. Check, no? Pension received by government from Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, Veer Chakra, and then there is this thing, foreign diplomats, consulates, weird names and all, you see, always exempt from taxes. And I think the last one which is there from exam is Sikkim is individual. They are basically coming and saying, if you are any kind of Sikkim person, whatever income you earn from Sikkim will be exempt from taxes, and apart from that, whatever passive income you have will be exempt from taxes. What is passive income, people? Example. Interest, then what are your passive incomes, people? Incomes which you are not expecting to come. It was not your main intention, but it automatically came. One is interest, then dividends. Yes, these are a kind of your passive incomes. All these incomes you do not expect. Your intention was a capital appreciation. Dividends is not your intention. Therefore, these becomes your passive incomes. They are basically coming and saying, boss, any income you earn from Sikkim, whether it is PGBP, IFOS, it doesn't matter. Any income from Sikkim alone will be exempt from taxes. And apart from that, any kind of dividend or interest which you earn from all over India is exempt from taxes. Is exempt from taxes. But yes, they've given an exception where they've come and said, if you are a woman who is from Sikkim but married a non-Sikkim. If you are a woman from Sikkim, married a non-Sikkim, you are no more a Sikkim person. Therefore, you are not exempted from taxes. Last attempt for exam. Next year amendment has already come into picture. Okay, Current year alone, this is applicable, where they come and say, if you are a Sikkim woman marrying a non-Sikkim male, in that case, it will become not exempted from taxes. This is the last attempt that is happening. You want to know what is happening next year? With this, the chapter gets over also. Okay, with this, the chapter gets over. You don't have much to discuss on it. Coming to the last chapter called as 115 BSc somewhere. Coming to the chapter of 115 BSc, I think we've already discussed as we did the multiple chapters. As we did multiple chapters, we've already discussed. So I'm just going to highlight it for you. Okay. Provisions are basically coming and saying when it comes to an individual or a HUF, you have two regimes. One is an old regime and a new regime. Old regime is what we did in chapter number 2. Chapter number 2, rates of taxes. Now we are doing into the next regime called as new regime, special tax regime 115 BSc. As per your exam, if nothing is given in the exam where they say compute tax liability, you are supposed to check for both. Check for both, whichever is beneficial. Whichever is beneficial meaning whichever is lower for the assessee. Yes, that is what you need to check. Rates of taxes are given to you. It says every 2.5 lakhs you will increase 5% until 30%. Until 30%. Surcharge will normally apply, cess will normally apply, rebate will normally apply, marginal relief will automatically apply. But when it comes to your special tax rate cases, that will still remain. Special tax rate cases still remain. Please understand people, old regime Puerto Rico, special tax regime remains. New tax regime Puerto Rico also special tax remains. But when it comes to AMT, it is 18.5% of everything. It is 18.5 of everything. Whether you have LTCG, STCG, doesn't matter. Everything is 18.5%. Clear? Yes, this is what the provisions come and say. And then they have come and clarified that boss, who can opt for new regime? Anyone can opt for new regime as long as you are an individual or a HUF. But yes, they have come and clarified that if you are a salary person, you can opt every year. You can opt every year. But if you are a business person, you can only opt once. You can only opt once. If you choose to opt this year, going forward, it will always apply. Going forward, it is always apply. In case you feel like you have made a mistake, you can come out. You can come out. But if you choose to come out, you can never come inside. If you choose to come out, you can never come inside. Relationship ponadukku appuram one mistake you are allowed. After that, you can never get inside. Simple logic. Okay. You can only make mistake once. Second time cheating and all, they will not allow you. Okay. So come out, never come inside. Come out, never come inside is the policy. If you are into business, if you stop doing your business and go back to salary, you can again start opting in. You can again stop opting in as long as you have businesses where the problem is clear. Yes. What are the things which are not allowed for you as a deduction? Starting from salaries, they said, boss, HRA not allowed. In special allowances, they said, boss, every special allowance not allowed except for traveling, per diem and conveyance. And then they said transport allowance for handicapped also not allowed. Then they came and said, boss, any kind of LTA, LTC not allowed. Any kind of food coupons are not allowed. Please understand, if you get a food in your office, still exempt. If you get a food during your office, you are still exempt. Coupon kurtada not exempt. Coupon kurta mattoda not exempt. Then they came and said any kind of chapter 6, section 16 deductions, 50,000 standard deduction, professional tax, entertainment allowance, all are ignored. Then they went into HP and they came and said, boss, HP everything remains the same except for SOP. Except for SOP. SOP will now become fully zero. SOP will become fully zero. Coming to PGBP, they came and said, boss, depreciation and all you can ignore. Additional depreciation not allowed. When it comes to scientific research, donations are not allowed. Expenditures are allowed. Then they came and said, boss, any kind of investment deductions are also not allowed. But depreciation can still be claimed. Depreciation can still be claimed. When we came to IFRS, they came and said any kind of daily allowance not coming for exam. Any kind of family pension will be not allowed. And then they said, boss, if you're going to clubbing of income, 1,500 of child income not allowed. Then they went into 10 deductions. They came and said 10 AA fully ignored. And when it comes to chapter 6A, also full chapter 6A ignored except for 80 CCD2, which is employer contribution to NPS. Employer contribution to NPS. Then 80 JJAA. 80 JJAA talks about your additional employee cost. Yes, when we came to set off and carry forward, they came and said, boss, any kind of loss from HP. Any kind of loss from HP, which SOP or LOP? SOP or LOP? LOP. Why pa? SOP da mutama zero soliton. We have already told SOP is zero, which means the only loss you can have is LOP loss. If you have a loss from LOP, that can only be set off against an LOP income, cannot be set off against any other head of income. Cannot be set off against any other head of income. And if you are carrying forward some losses, I will now split the losses and understand whether it is pertaining to the 115 BSc non-exemptions. If it is pertaining to 115 BSc non-exemptions, if it is pertaining, then I will ignore those losses. Clear? Yes, this is the mark of the end of chapter number 115 BSc. Getting to the balance. We have now 2 chapters, 3 chapters. We have 3 chapters. One is called as payment of taxes. Then we have return filing, and then we have TDS. Let's start from payment of taxes. The moment you opt in 115 BSc, loss is ignored. You can never bring it after that. It is assumed it is already set off. Shall we? Yes. Completing the balance small chapters for your exam perspective. First, the smallest chapter from your exam is called as payment of taxes. In your ICA study material or your faculty's classes, I am assuming this would be part of your return filing. I am assuming this will be part of return filing or you're part of a TDS chapter. Either way, I have put it separately into my chapter because we have an amendment in the current year. We have an amendment in the current year. I will discuss the amendment with you next class, tomorrow. I'll discuss the amendment alone next class because it takes a good amount of time for me. So I will stick to this payment of taxes, ignoring the amendment, then complete my return filing, complete my TDS. Tomorrow we will discuss about our amendment along with our comprehensive questions. Clear? Yes. So starting from this chapter called as payment of taxes, basically what happened is when it comes to your income taxes, whenever it comes to your income taxes, we said that boss, you need to compute your tax and then pay your tax also. Income tax asks a simple question: how do you want to pay your tax? How do you want to pay your tax? We gave an option, boss, either it can be during the previous year itself, during the assessment year, or after the assessment year. So they said, okay, boss, how do we do it? We said, boss, during the previous year, let's do one thing. One is option where you deduct it from source, called as TDS. The other option is collected from source, called as TCS. We said, boss, these are all responsibilities on the assessee, on the other person. On the other person. What should I do? What should I do? Here is where they came and said, boss, if that is the case, then you do one thing. Every quarter you pay me something called as advance tax. You pay me something called as advance tax. Why are we using the word advance tax? You are paying in advance because you have to compute your tax in assessment year. You need to compute your tax in assessment year, but they are asking you to pay it in the previous year. Therefore, it is called as advance tax. Next year they came and said, no, boss, advance tax all done. Advance tax all done. Still, I have some liability to pay. I will pay in the form of self-assessment tax. Why self-assessment tax? I am assessing my tax right now and I am itself paying tax. Therefore, it is called as self-assessment. It's clear? Yes. So, what are the kind of taxes which you can pay? You can pay either TDS or TCS or advance tax or self-assessment tax from inter-syllabus. From inter-syllabus, final syllabus, you learn something else called as foreign taxes. You learn something else called as foreign taxes, and you will also learn something called as regular assessment tax. Final syllabus, not important from your inter perspective. In inter, we have something called as TDS, advance tax, self-assessment tax. TDS is in the next chapter, so we are going to discuss two things called as advance tax and self-assessment tax. Clear? Yes. Starting from the chapter called as advance tax, provisions are basically coming and saying you are going to pay it during the previous year. You are going to pay it during the previous year. Income tax says I am giving you 4 installments. I am giving you 4 installments. You have to pay it in 4 installments. What is these 4 installments? Every quarter, last month 15th you have to pay. Every quarter, last month 15th you have to pay. First quarter is April to June, which means you will pay it on 15th June. Then July, August, September, you will pay it on 15th September. Then October, November, December, you will pay it on 15th December. January, February, March, you will pay it on March 15th. This is what the provisions come and say. Now, how much to pay when, Rahul? In first quarter, which is on 15 June. On 15 June, remit 15%. Remit 15%. In quarter 2, which is 15 September, remit 45% together. Remit 45% together. Please understand, people, it is not me asking you to pay extra 45. It is me coming and saying, boss, in case you remitted only 10%, by quarter 2 you should have remitted 45, which means gap irukudhu, cover it up. This is 45 cumulative. 45 cumulative, it is not standalone. Standalone patta, if you have remitted proper 15, next time you will pay only 30. Clear? Clear? Next quarter 3, 15th, you will pay 75%. You will pay 75%. Quarter 4, you will pay 100%. Quarter 4, you will pay 100%. Clear? Not clear? Clear? Yes. So in quarter 1, you need to remit cumulatively 15%. Quarter 2, you need to remit cumulatively 45%. Quarter 3, you have to cumulatively remit 75%. And quarter 4, you have to cumulatively remit 100%. Rahul, quarter 4 due date is 15th March. I remitted something on 17th March. I remitted something on 17th March. Is it 80? Not 80. What is 80? Is it advance tax? Not advance tax. Is it advance tax? Not advance tax. It is advance tax. Until the previous year gets over, advance tax still remains. Advance tax still remains. Rahul, Apuna, if this is also advance tax, then what is the point of view quarter 4? It comes for your interest under section 234. For the purpose of 234C, you need to remit by 15th March. For the purpose of 234C, you need to remit by 15th March. If you remit after that also, it is still called as advance tax, but you will still be levied for 234C. What will not be levied on you is 234B. Okay, what is that and all? We'll discuss next time. We'll discuss next time. Right now, what we are in? We are into advance tax. There is a 4 quarters. Quarter 1, 15. Quarter 2, 45. Quarter 3, 75. Quarter 4, 100%. Yes. Now, who has to remit advance tax question? They come and say, boss, if your tax liability is going to go more than 10,000 for the year, you remit advance tax. If it is going to go more than 10,000 for the year, you pay advance tax. But yes. If you are a resident senior citizen, who are you? Resident senior citizen who does not have a PGBP income. You need not remit advance tax. You can remit self-assessment tax. 2 exceptions to you. Exception number 1, they are coming and saying you should be a person who does not have tax liability more than 10,000. Second one, they are coming and saying you should not be a resident senior citizen not having PGBP income. If you are that kind of person, then also you don't need to remit advance tax. Clear, not clear? Yes. Now the question is, what do you mean by this 10,000 rupees? They are coming and saying your tax liability. Tax liability meaning what you need to pay. They are coming and saying, boss, very simple, do one thing. Compute what is your tax. So what will you do? Take your total income. Compute tax on it. First basic, then surcharge or rebate, then cess. Get a final number. Yes or no? Get a final number. On this number, you might have some payments you might have already made called as TDS. I told you what you need to pay, correct? So I am not looking at what someone else has paid on your behalf. So this will be called as TDS. So they came and said, boss, take your tax liability, reduce what is called as TDS or TCS, because that is someone already deducted. That is something which has already been deducted. Then you might also have something called as AMT credit. Yes or no? Munadi varshadhukku pay pannirukken, indha varsha you are claiming. Yes. So whatever they are coming and saying is, boss, take your tax liabilities, reduce your AMT credit, reduce your TDS credit. This is what will be called as your tax liability which is pending. If this number goes more than 10,000, you have to pay advance tax. If not, no advance tax. No advance tax. Clear, not clear? Clear? Yes. This is what the provisions are coming and saying. Any doubts? No. This is what is called as advance tax. But then please understand, people, I came and already clarified to you that if you are opting for presumptives, what presumptive? 44A, D, then 44A, DA, then AE. You have 3 kinds of presumptives. In that, if you opt for 44AD, you will have to pay how many installments? Only the last installment, which is 15th March. If you opt for 44ADA, you have to pay how many installments? 1 installment, 15th March. But if you opt for 44AE, you need to pay all the 4 installments. Check which presumptive you are opting for. If you are into transport operations, you have to opt for all the 4 installments. If you are into business or profession, you need to pay only last installment. Clear? Yes. Next thing they are coming and clarifying is that, boss, please understand this advance tax is an estimate. Yes or no? Advance tax is an estimate, which means I can go wrong some places. Today I might assume that my income will be 500. Tomorrow suddenly it became 1,000. So I could have a possibility of a risk because initially I paid less, 500 ke 15% da pay pannirpen. Now I need to pay what? 1,000 ke 15%, which means I missed out on that. Yes. In that cases, you need to give me some kind of benefit. So they came and said, boss, in that scenario, first tell me, how did this 500 become extra? Is it something which you properly wrongly estimated, or is it something which you are not expecting itself? Is it something which you wrongly estimated, or is something which you did not expect itself? What are the kind of incomes which you will never expect to happen? Casual income, very good. Do you know today itself that tomorrow you will win lottery? உன்னோட லக்கு தெரிஞ்சா அப்படியே தெரிஞ்சிரும். Yes sir. Yes, so which means lottery can never happen on your will. So which means casual income should never be questioned to you. Yes or no? Any other incomes? Any other income? Huh? Okay. Summarize everything. All these came into what, ma? Capital gains. Hey, today you will do your regular business properly, but will you today itself come and say, boss, my capital receipts also I will tax it? Will you know that you are going to sell your property today? Will you know government will take your property today? Will you know your property will take up fire? Which means any kind of capital gains you can never estimate, correct or not? So they came and said, boss, okay, capital gains also exempt. Next. Anything else? Dividends, very good. Look at it, no? Do you think that you will know today itself that Reliance is going to give you dividends? So dividends is also one item. And last item, this 500 became 1000 because suddenly new business came to you. Suddenly new business came to you. Were you expecting new business? Will you come and say your customer saying, no, sir, I only estimated 500, I will not take your business, I will be poor itself? Or will you come and say, business varda vandiko, unna prasna illa, tax pay panna pannidalam? Yes or no? Yes. So these are the 4 kind of incomes which they said, boss, what are the 4 kinds of income? Casual income, capital gains, dividends, any kind of new PGBP income. Any kind of new PGBP income. They came and said, boss, these kind of incomes I cannot estimate when it will happen. I cannot estimate when it will happen. Income tax came and said, in these scenarios, don't worry people. You don't have to pay the tax from quarter 1 itself. You don't have to pay the tax from quarter 1 itself. You can pay the tax from the quarter in which the income is coming. From the quarter in which the income is coming. Very simple example. Let's say you have won a lottery of 1 crore. You won a lottery of 1 crore on 7th November 2022. When did you win? 7th November 2022. Did you know in quarter 1 that you will have to get this lottery income? Can you pay the income in quarter 1? No. Come to quarter 2. What is quarter 2? July, August, September. Did you receive the income in quarter 2? No. Come to quarter 3. September, October, November, December. When did you receive? November. Which means by the end of quarter 3, you know that you have received this income. You are in a position to pay tax on this. Yes or no? That is why the reason they come and say it is 1545 and 75. They're coming and saying, boss, in that scenario, when you know in quarter 3 that you have got this income, when you know in quarter 3 you have got this income, motto income oda 75% pay today itself. When 15th December, 75%. I'm not asking you to 100% because you still have one more quarter. 75% of that income tax you pay in quarter 3. You pay it in quarter 3 and then balance 25% you can pay it in quarter 4. Clear? Not clear? Yes. So the provisions are coming and saying if you have any kind of income of the 4 limbs, what are the 4 limbs? Casual, capital gains, dividend income, new PGBP. In any kind of these 4 incomes, you can pay the advance tax starting from the quarter in which income is received. Clear? Yes, yes. Rahul, I received the income on 16th March. I received the income on 16th March. When should I make the payment? Before? Very good. Before make it 31st March. Yes, I told you, no, until 31st March it is still 80. It is still 80. So for these incomes you pay advance tax before 31st March. How much? Motto 100%. Motto 100% you make it before 31st March. If you make it before 31st March, good for you. 234B will not apply. If you don't make it before 31st March, 234B will apply. C will anyway not apply. C will anyway not apply because C stopped on 15th March itself. C stopped on 15th March itself. Clear? Yes, yes. This is the provisions of advance tax. Read. Advance tax refers to payment made by the assessee in the previous year in which the income is earned and is taxable. 80 will be estimated as follows. Tax on the estimated total income. TDS actually deducted. Relief received under 89. AMT kind of credits and advance tax payable will be the final Answer, you are required to pay advance tax if your total tax in the current year is more than 10,000, or if you are not a senior citizen having PGBP income. Having PGBP income. Due dates are given to you 15th September 45, 15 December 75, 15th March 100%. But if you are opting for presumptive under 44 AD and ADA, you have to pay only last installments. Any kind of taxes paid between 15 March to 31st March is also considered as 80. You can ignore these provisions. And here we would have come and said, boss, if you have any of the following incomes, 234C will be attracted only from the quarter in which you earn the income, because you are required to pay 80 only from that quarter. What are the incomes? Capital gains, casual incomes, PGBP income for the first time, dividend income. Clear? Yes, this is what your 80 looks like. This is what your 80 looks like. What is the last thing called as SAT? Self-assessment tax. Provisions are coming and saying, boss, if you forgot to pay your 80, if you forgot to pay your 80 and you still have a tax liability after March 31st, if you have a tax liability even after March 31st, do one thing, pay the tax in the form of self-assessment tax. What is the pending amount to be paid? We did the computation already for 80. In that one amount you will include called as 80 already paid. So which means you start from basic tax, surcharge, rebate, cess, you will get the tax liability, reduce something called as TDS, reduce something called as AMT, reduce something called as 80 already, you will arrive something called as SAT. You will arrive at something called as SAT. Clear? Yes, 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 yes. Rahul, my tax is 1.5 lakhs. My tax is 1.5 lakhs. My interest under 234C is 20,000. Totally I am required to pay a total Panama 1.7 lakhs. This 1.7 lakhs has to be paid when? Starting 1st April. Starting 1st April. So what happened is on 5th April, I actually paid 60,000. I actually paid 60,000. Now the problem with me is I paid 60,000, that's all. I paid 60,000 and I need to compute my 234B for the upcoming months. What is 234B and all we'll discuss. What is 234B and all we'll discuss. My question to you, you have paid how much? 60,000. You are required to pay how much? 1.7 lakhs. Now the question is, the 60,000 is pertaining to what of the two? Can I go to the government and come and say, hey, I have paid 60,000 pertaining to tax only. Pertaining to tax only. Interest and all we'll see tomorrow, no worries. I am not having interest with you, you don't have an interest with me, so we'll do it tomorrow. Okay. Today I have paid you 60,000 pertaining to tax. Okay, yeah? Okay, yeah? Is it okay for you? Whatever SAT you pay will first be adjusted against interest. Will first be adjusted against interest. Then only the balance will be adjusted against your. Why, Rahul? Because 234B is not computed on your interest, but is computed on your tax. It's computed on your tax. If you come and say that, boss, this 60,000 is adjusted against my 1.5 lakhs, your total tax remaining is 90,000, which means you will compute interest only on. But you should have actually paid interest on. You should have paid interest on the 20,000 also, no? You have not paid that to government, which means that money you are holding from the government. Therefore, they came and said, boss, if you have paid something as 60,000, first adjust against your 20, which means balance left off is 40. 40 adjust against 1.5 lakhs will give you. You will pay interest on 1 point. Okay. So the rule comes and says that, boss, if you have any kind of taxes which you have paid in the form of SAT, it will first be adjusted against interest, then it will be adjusted against taxes. Clearer? Clearer? Rahul, I have not paid my return also on time. I did not file my return also on time. I have been levied in 234F of 5,000 rupees. 234F of 5,000 rupees. I will first adjust my 60,000 against. I will first adjust my 60,000 against. Fees are interest. Fees is static. Fees is static. One time offer. So therefore they came and said, boss, adjust it against your fees first, then adjust against your interest, then adjust against your. It's clear? Yes, this is what SAT comes and says. This is what SAT comes and says. Any doubts? No. Now coming to the point where we are Indians, so we will ask a simple question. Day na pay panla enna panna pora. Standard question from Indians. What you will do if I don't do? Yes. So we came and said, boss, what will we do? We will levy something called as interest. We will levy something called as interest. We will also levy penalty, but that is out of your syllabus right now. That is out of your syllabus right now. When you come to finals with me, we will discuss what penalty looks like. But right now we only have interest. So they came and said, boss, if you don't remit whatever I told you on time, we will levy something called as interest on you. We have three kinds of interest called as 234C, 234B, 234A. We have something called as 234C, 234B, 234A. Works in the same order. Works in the same order. While it is ABC, we work from CBA. We work from CBA. C applies in the previous year. B applies in the assessment year. A applies after the return filing. When I say after return filing, I mean after return filing due date. Okay, it works in the reverse scenario. It works in the reverse scenario. You start from C, go to B, go to A. Now what happens in 234C? They are coming and saying, boss, I asked you to in your previous year pay something called as 80. I asked you to pay something called as 80. You did not pay your 80 on time. I will levy something called as 234C. How much did I ask you to pay, people? 15th June. Tell me quickly. This is what I asked you to pay. This is what I asked you to pay. They're coming and saying, boss, if you did not remit 15%, if you did not remit 15%, I will charge 1% on the shortfall. 1% on the shortfall. Let's say I paid only 9%. I paid only balances 6%. 6% into 1% into why? You are looking at 3 months. You are looking at 3 months. Is this 3 months April, May, June? Illa is it July, August, September? July, August, September. Understand, people. On 15th June, I asked you to pay how much? 15%. Did you pay the 15%? No. Which means you have kept my money from me for how many more months? Next 3 months. Because next 3 months, I will again check for 45. I will again check for 45. Which means that 45 already includes the 15 also. So therefore, they came and said, next 3 months you have not made me the payment. So therefore, it is not April, May, June. It is actually June, July, August. It is actually June, July, August. In September, you are going to make the payment. Yes or no? So they came and said, boss, I will levy 1% per month for 3 months. 1% per month for 3 months on your shortfall. On your shortfall. Rahul, by mistake, instead of paying it on 15th June, I paid it on 16th June. I paid it on 16th June. Can I come and say, Rahul, now my interest will only be for 1 month? Can I come and say my interest will be for 1 month? No. No. Income tax comes and says, boss, if you paid something after 15th June, it is assumed as advance tax for next quarter. It is assumed as advance tax for next quarter. Next quarter la paathalam. But this quarter you did not make me my right payment. Therefore, I will levy interest for the next 3 months. Flat down, gone. I will directly levy interest for the next 3 months. So the provisions come and say whatever is your tax liability into 1% into 3 months, mandatory until September. Until September. Rahul, September also I had to pay 45, including 15. How much did I pay already? 9. I paid another 20. Which means totally I paid 29. 45 I need to pay, 29 I paid. How much is balance? So what will happen? Clear? Yes. Then next quarter I was supposed to pay. How much have I already paid? 29. I paid 70. How much have I paid? 99. 70, 29. How much have I paid? 99. Therefore, interest will be levied, not levied. Levied, not levied. Not levied. Yes or no? Last quarter I did not pay anything. Last quarter I did not pay anything. I had to pay 100. I paid 99. How much left off? 1% into 1% into why? Please understand, March is pending. There is only 1 more month pending in the previous year called as March. So you will levy only. Yes. So understand how the provisions work. It is 3 months for quarter 1, 3 months for quarter 2, 3 months for quarter 3, 1 month for quarter 4. Clear? Not clear? Yes, yes, this is what the provisions come and say. When you levy 234C, levy 234C at the rate of 1% per month or part thereof for the next quarter, until the next quarter. So first quarter you levy 3 months, second quarter you levy 3 months, third quarter you levy 3 months, fourth quarter there is no month left except for March, therefore levy for done. But they put an exception to this, come and said, boss, you are in quarter one, still only 3 months are over, you still have 9 months pending. I know how the difficulty you will have. I know the difficulty you will have in estimation. So even if you have not paid 15%, it is okay if you pay 12%. Even if you have not paid 15, it is okay even if you pay 12%. It is okay even if you pay 12%. If you pay 12% or higher, I will levy interest of 0. I did not pay 12, Rahul, I paid 9. I paid 9. My shortfall is 3 or 6? 3 or 6? 6. My shortfall is 6. Please understand, 12 is just a checkpoint. 12 is just a checkpoint. If you pay more than 12, no interest. If you pay anything lesser than 12, you will start from your 15. You will start from your, clear? Where have we learned this before? In the Mari or checkpoint vachirukkom. Where have we done it before? Very good. If you have an immovable property, check for the stamp duty value more than 110%. If it does not go beyond, if it goes beyond 110%, you will ignore the 110 and you will start from your actual consideration. Yes, same provisions, what they are coming and saying, boss, check for the 12%, check for the 12%. If you are able to check for the 12%, then great, no interest. If it is anything lesser than 12%, you will start from your 15. You will start from your 15. Next one they came and said, if it is not 45, make it 36. If it is not 45, make it 36. You pay anything more than 36, no interest. If you pay anything lesser than 36, start from 45. Start from 45. Balance 2 are the same. Balance 2 are the same. Done. Yes, this is what the provisions of 234C looks like, where they come and say, boss, if you have any kind of advance tax installments to be paid, please make it before 15 June, September, December and March. If you make the payments on time, great. If you don't make the payments, I will levy interest at the rate of 1% for 3 months for quarter 1, 3 months for quarter 2, 3 months for quarter 3, 1 month for quarter 4, 1 month for quarter 4. Quarter 1, quarter 2, special benefit for you. You can pay up to 12% or 36%. If you don't pay, start from the main. Start from the main. And here is where they put and said, boss, if you have 4 kinds of income: casual income, capital income, dividends, new PGBP. In these kind of cases, you will start your 234C also from the quarter in which the income is on. Quarter from which the income is clear. Yes, this is 234C. This is 234C. Now coming to 234. Benefit na tirpi vanama kasu. Benefit na kasu tirpi vanama. Now what do you want? You tell me, I will talk to Nirmala. You tell me, I will talk to Nirmala. What do you want? You want refund? Adha, you want refund? You will get a refund if you pay more than 100%. If by quarter 4 we realize that you have paid more than 100%, whatever is the money which you have to get back from the government, that will be given to you back in the form of interest. Will be given to you along with interest. Rate is worse than this. You will get half the rate. If you keep government's money, government will collect 1%. If government collects money from you, if you collect money from government, they will levy 0.5. They will levy 0.5. That is how the rule is. Okay. So if you pay more than 100% and you result in a refund, whatever refund you get will be given along with interest at the rate of not relevant final level. Final level syllabus not relevant for you. Clear? Yes. Coming back to the provisions, we have completed 234C. Now completing our previous year, we are now going to assessment year. We are going into assessment year. They are coming and saying, boss, if you are not remitting your AT properly, because of which you have come into SAT, you have come into bad word mari theridu. Sorry. If you have not remitted your advance tax properly, and if you have come to a self-assessment tax position, in that case, for whatever period you keep government's money with you, we will levy something called as 234B. We will levy something called as 234B at the rate of Hello. 1% per month or part thereof. When will this start from, Rahul? April. It'll start from April. That is the reason why I came and told you that if you make a payment until 31st March also, it will be called as 80. It will be called as 80. Even if you have not completed your quarter 4, but by 31st March, if you realize that you need to make that kind of payment and you made the payment, it will still be considered as 80 for the purpose of 234B, which means in 234B, we will not consider that. But for 234C, it was anyway got considered on 15th March itself. Clear? Yes, so the provisions are coming and saying, boss, if you are required to pay anything called as self-assessment tax, whatever is the shortfall will be levied interest at the rate of 1% per month or part thereof. From when to when, Rahul? You will start from April till the date on which you make the payment. Till the date on which you make the payment. In this example, where is this example? This example, you have tax of 1.5 lakhs, you have an interest of 20,000. You paid how much? 60,000. When did you pay it? April. You made it? April. In this scenario, what happened? This 60,000 got adjusted against your interest first. In that I don't care. It got adjusted against your tax. How much is the balance? 1.1 lakhs. Now, what will happen for the month of April? For the month of April, you will collect tax on 1.5 directly. 1% per month or part thereof. 1% per month or part thereof. Yeah, na? From 1st April to 5th April, how much was your due? 1.5. So you will have to pay for the full month. So what will happen? From April month, you will pay 1.5 lakhs into 1% into 1 month. Correct or not? Now, when you closed your April, what was your tax liability pending? 1.1 lakhs. So from May till, let's say July. Let's say your due date for filing is July. In that case, May, June, July, you will levy interest at the rate of 1% for how many months? 3 months. You will levy interest at the rate of 3 months. So when you are going for July, you will have to pay 2 items. One is called as 1.1 lakhs worth of tax and then interest under 234B for April month separately, May, June, July separately. Clear? Yes. Yes, this is what the provisions come and say. Enama? Adama, 1st April, 2nd April, 3rd April, 4th April, 4 days you had the 1.5 lakhs pending. No? So they have collected interest for the full month. Okay, they collected interest for the full month. You cannot come and say, boss, 1.5 lakhs also I will pay for April, 1.1 lakhs also I will pay for April. Either of the two. And which one is more beneficial to government? 1.5. So they came and said, boss, part thereof, meaning 1.5 lakhs you should have paid on 31st March itself. You did not pay on 31st March. So 1st April itself I levied 1% on you. I levied 1% on you. After that you pay money, I don't care. Because my next computation will happen only on 1st May. On 1st May, how much you had balance? 1 point? Clear? Yes, yes, this is what the provisions come and say. Any doubts? Yes, this is where you have to come and take another provision. They are coming and saying, boss, whenever you are computing interest, the tax amount which you have, should be rounded down to 100. Whatever tax which you have should be rounded down to the nearest 100. Apni na Rahul, in this scenario, let's say this was 1,51,467. You will make it 1,51,400. Why da? You rounded down. You do not round off. If you round off, it becomes 500. If you round down, it becomes 400. If you make it 1,51,999, 900. Clear? 1,51,999.7. 1,52,000. And Decimals get rounded off at that very instance. Decimals get rounded off at that very instance. It became 1,52,000. Round down to nearest 100 is also 1,52,000 only. Done na? Summa. Yes, it is always round down to the nearest 100. It is round down to the nearest. Correct Dama. Summa is like my sarcasm. Yes, so it is nearest 100 rounded down. It is not round off, it is round down. This is only for the purpose of computing interest. Please understand, your tax is still the same. Your tax is still the same. Only for the purpose of computing interest, you will round down to the nearest 100. You compute your tax, bring the number and then ignore this. Bring the number and ignore this, because your tax liability has to be rounded off to the nearest 10. Your tax liability has to be rounded off to the nearest 10. So what will you do? You will take your tax liability, round down to the nearest 100, compute your interest, take your interest, add it to the tax and then round off to the nearest. Purinjada? Puriliya? Sorry. Let's say your tax is 1,51,467. What is your tax liability? 1,51,467. Let's say, for example, for 1 month you did not pay interest. You did not pay, did not pay tax, which means you will be levied interest for 1 month. Number is into 1%. Now, before you do 1%, you need to round down. So, what will you do? You will do 1,51,400 into 1%. Number is 1 lakh. Yes or no? Now, this is the interest which you are liable to pay under 234B. What is your tax? 151,467. Add these two. Last classes, if I don't see the calculator on the table, 1 lakh 152 981. Now, this is the final tax liability. This is the final tax liability, and when we went to chapter number 2, I would have told you the final tax liability should be rounded off to nearest 10. So, therefore, it become 1,529. Clear? Yes. So, only for the purpose of interest, you will round down to the nearest 100 and then you will add it both and then you will round off to the nearest. Clear? Yes. This is what is your 234B. This is what is a 234B. With this, we end the chapter. That's all is there in the chapter. Any doubts? Two 234B is advanced tax. Okay, one provision which I missed. I guess I missed it somewhere. Where am I? I'm in 234B, no? Where is 234B? Here. There is one exception here also, like in 234C we had an exception of 12 and 36, right? You have an exception in 234B also where they come and say, boss, if you were required to pay, let's say 100 rupees. If you were required to pay, let's say 100 rupees in the form of advance tax, in you remitted at least 90. In that case, I will not collect 234B from you. No, Rahul, I was supposed to pay 100 rupees of 80. I paid only 81, Rahul. Interest will be levied on. You paid 81, no ma? 90 na, 10 na? 10 na illa 9 na, sorry. 19 na, 9 na? 19. Same provisions at 234C. Provisions come and say, boss, if you were required to remit something as advance tax, please ensure that you have remitted at least 90% of that before 31st March. If you have remitted at least 90% of that before 31st March, in that case, I will not levy any kind of 234B. If you have not remitted that much also, then whatever is a shortfall, in that I will levy 234B. Yes, 90% is the exception scenario for you. Clear? Yes. Check. 234B, in case of non-payment or short payment of advance tax, 234B will be levied as follows. Any kind of advance tax which is short paid into 1% per month commencing from 1st April till the date of the actual payment. No interest will be levied if the assessee has paid at least 90% of the advance tax liability before 31st March. Where any tax is paid on 1st April, it will first be adjusted against fees, then adjusted against interest, then adjusted against the. Done. Self-assessment tax is what we discussed. Updated return we will discuss tomorrow. Yes, let me see if I have any questions. ULIPs are scrapped from syllabus. Look at the question. Mr. J is having a total income of 8,70,000, has not paid any kind of advance tax during the previous year, 22-23. Page number 22. Mr. J is having a total income of 8,70,000. For people who have come from my old batches, it is there in your question bank. Okay. Mr. J having a total income of 8,70,000 did not pay any advance tax during the previous year, 22-23. He wishes to pay the whole of the tax along with interest, if any, on the filing of return in the month of July. He is neither paid advance tax, neither paid self-assessment tax until July. Okay. What is the total tax which J has to be deposited as self-assessment tax along with interest if he is going to file his return on 29 July 2023, assuming he does not exercise the options for 115 BSc. Compute the tax and tell me. Hello, computing taxes and all should not take so much time. Get me a number. What is the number? 80? 89,960. How did you get it? You will first reduce 5 lakh rupees into 8 lakh 70 minus 5 lakhs into 20%. Into 20% number will get you 3 lakh 70 into 20% is how much, ma? 74,000. Add 12,500 on that. Number is 490. 460. 4% cess is what? Ah, 3460. 89,960 is the total tax which you are required to pay. Is there any TDS in the question? No, which means the whole 89,960 should be paid in the form of advance tax. Did he pay any advance tax? No. So which means first interest which will come on him is 234. Hello. C. First interest is 234. C. On 15th June, 15th September, 15th December, 15th March, he should have paid how much? 15% of 89,960. 13,494. Then 45%. 40,482. 75%. 6,7,470. Last one is wonderful, using calculators for this. These are the total tax liabilities which you are required to pay. You have not paid a single rupee, which means 12% also does not apply, 36 also does not apply. This is your full shortfall. You need to compute tax at the rate of 1% into 3 months for the first one. So it is 3%. This one is 3%. This one is 3%. This one is 1%. For those who have already started multiplying, Done? So your total interest under 234C is being arrived at 4535. But the problem is this guy is now ready to pay the tax only on 29th July. 29th July. Now the problem is because of which it will come something called as 234B from April. So 89,960 is what the tax is. He did not pay 1 rupee also into April, May, June, July, 4 months. Number is again round down to the nearest 100. No, no interest on interest. 89,900 into 1% into 4. 3596. Now he is ready to pay everything together in the month of July. So what will and all he has to pay? He has to pay 89,960 plus 4535 plus 3596 total 98. Will he pay 98091? No, he will pay 9809. Clear? Straightforward 4-mark question. Can we go to the next one? Next one. The following details are provided by Mr. Pinto, an individual, for the assessment year 23-24. The total estimated tax payable by him is 2 lakh rupees for the current year. The TDS estimated but not deducted is given as 55,000. They are asking you to determine the advance tax payable for every quarter along with their due dates. What is the advance tax liability for you? Why? No, question apadi. How much is the advance tax liability for you? 2 lakhs. Read the line. It comes and says what? It is a TDS estimated but not deducted. He is thinking someone will deduct, but no one deducted itself. In that case, will the TDS come? No. In that case, TDS will not come, which means the tax liability is 2 lakh rupees, which means you need to pay the 2 lakhs over the next 4 quarters. First quarter is 15th June, 15th, 2 lakhs into 15% will give you 30,000. 2 lakhs into 45% will give you 90,000. 2 lakhs into 75% will give you 1 lakh 50,000, and 15th March will give you 2 lakhs. The question is not asking you for 80 payable till date. The question is asking you how much 80 you should pay every quarter. So which means first quarter you will pay 30,000. Second quarter you will pay 60,000. Hello. 90,000 is accumulated. You have already paid 30, which means next quarter you will pay 60. Next quarter you will pay 60,000. Last quarter you will pay இது எழுதுறதுக்கு 4 மார்க். The only thing which you could miss out is 55. Careful on that. Shall we go to the next one? Yes. Mr. Sachal, a resident individual aged 54 years, has furnished his income and other details for the previous year 22-23. Your previous year, previous year. Income of 8,10,000 from wholesale cloth business whose accounts are audited under 44AB. Abdina. Not presumptive, presumptive. Presumptive, non-presumptive. Hey, presumptive, non-presumptive. Non-presumptive. Books are audited. If you have not audited only, you will go for presumptive. Income from other sources 2,70,000. Tax deducted at source 25,000. Advance tax paid is 1,03,000. Return of income was filed on 11th December 2023. Within the due date, after the due date. Hello, within the due date, after the due date. After the due date. What is your due date? What is your due date? 31st October. Your due date is 31st October. You should have filed by 31st October. You failed to file it on 31st October. You filed it on 11th December. What will happen? You will levy the third interest called as 234. A. That is fee. You will levy the third interest called as 234A. What is this 234A? We will discuss now. Question comes and says that return filed on 11th December, you are required to calculate the interest payable under 234. Sandoshma pochu. He doesn't even want to know. He wants to know what 234. Assume that the return of income would be processed on the same day of filing the return and such as not opted for the concessional regimes of 115 BSc. What are the consequences of filing the delay in furnishing return of income? Examine making the required computations in the act. They are simply coming and saying, I want only 234B. Will you compute 234C? Mandatory, no? Will you compute 234C? Yes or no? Why? Is 234B not linked on 234C? Yes, sir. Yenga padcha? Not required. Not required. Understand, I told you 234B only levies on the tax, does not levy on the interest. Does not levy on the interest means I don't care what the interest is. I would have only bothered if he would have made some payments between the year. Had he made some payments from April to December, then I would have adjusted against 234C. Fortunately, he made no payments, which means I will directly get the 234B directly. Yes or no? Let's compute the tax. Is it 1,08,500 without cess? Without cess. I'm asking tax liability. I don't want the net tax payable. I want the tax liability. 1,08,500. Oh, no, sorry. My number is wrong. 24,000, 1,34,000 something. Without cess numbers. 1,12,500 plus 24,000. 1,12,500 plus 24,000. 1,36,500 will be your tax liability. Add cess on it. Number is 141,960 is the total tax payable. 141,960 is the total tax payable, in which he has already deducted TDS of 25,000. Number is number 1,16,960 is the 80. 1,16,960 is the 80. He should have paid 80 of 1,16,960. He paid an 80 of 1,03,000, which means total he did not pay is 13,960. Will 234B apply? How did you check? 90% of what? 116,960 into 90% is 1,05,264. He should have remitted at least 1,05,264. He only remitted 1,03,000, which means he did not satisfy the condition. Therefore, this condition will be ignored and the shortfall will become 13,960, on which he has to levy interest at the rate of into 1% into how many months? Anu, number of months first. How did you get it? April to December. When did he make the payment? He is going to make the payment when, pa? He's made it very clear that the return will be filed on 11th December, which means he will make the payment on 11th December only, which means until 11th December you never receive the payment. Therefore, it will be April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. How much? 9 months. So 13, 9, 16 to 1% into 9 months, correct? No. எவ்வளோ தடவை சொன்னாலும் அதான் பிரச்சனை தான். What is the interest to be payable under 234B? 1252. ஏதோ ஒன்று தான். எப்படி வச்சாலும் ரவுண்ட் ஆஃப்ல கம்மியாயிடும். Okay. What is the calculated interest under 234B? 125152, whatever it is. Okay. What are the consequences of delay in furnishing return of income under Income Tax Act? You will get a late filing fee. Next. You will levy something called as 234A. Next. Next. Two more items. Next. Solta. Very good. What is the provision? படிச்சோமா படிக்கலையா? அப்புறம் என்ன? Any losses other than HP or UD will not be allowed to be carried forward. One more. டேய் கத்தாதானே கேட்கொண்டா போச்சா எக்ஸாம் முன்னாடியே சந்தோஷம். செட் ஆஃப் சொன்னியா? அதான் இப்போ பேசணும். No idea? Chapter 6. No? Any kind of heading C of chapter 6A will not be allowed as a reduction. Any kind of heading C of chapter 6A will not be allowed as a reduction, which means 80, JJAA, QQB and RRB is not allowed. Any kind of heading C is not allowed. 4 items which are not there in which are there in inter syllabus. 234A, late filing fee. Any kind of losses cannot be carried forward unless and until it is a HP loss or a UD loss. Then any deduction under heading C will not be granted to you. Okay, these are the 4 consequences of filing your late return. Mr. Money, a resident individual, sold a plot of land on 20th March 2021. Long-term capital gains on such plot is given as 5 lakh rupees. Since he had no other income during the previous year, he did not pay any advance tax installment. You are required to calculate the amount of advance tax payable by Mr. Money, if any. Basis your answer relating to the provisions of advance tax, you are required to, base your answer on the relevant provisions in relating to payment of advance tax on income from capital gains and advise Mr. Money suitably so that liability on late payment cannot arise. Question புரிஞ்சுதா? What has happened? There is a guy called Money, resident individual, sold a plot of land on 20th March. Long-term capital gains is given as 5 lakh rupees and he has chosen to pay no advance tax. They are asking you, when should he latest pay the advance tax? When should he latest pay the advance tax? What is the amount of advance tax to be paid and what are the provisions on it so that he does not have any kind of default on it? What is the 80 payable? What is the 80 payable? Huh? 80 payable amount. எனக்கு எப்படி தெரியும்? அவனுக்கு தான் தெரியும். ரிபேட் குட்டியா கேக்குறான். Anyone else? 1,04,000. 91,500. 91,000. Anyone else? 91,000. No, he's still trying, Maya. Let's appreciate his efforts. He is not happy with your answer. You're happy with his answer? Happy with the answer? Okay. Anyone on the back not happy with the answer? $91,500. Seri. 91. All in. Unanimously. Either it is 91,000 or 91,500. Yes, sir? எப்படியா 500 உனக்கு எங்க எக்ஸ்ட்ரா குத்துன்னு இருக்க? They are telling you 91,000 not 91,500. Huh? Seri. Cess is before rebate. I'm sorry, cess is after rebate. No, let's convince everyone it's 91,000. 91? என்னடா? $91. Anyone? So 1,04,000 is out. 91,500 is out. Anyone still with 91,500? All in 91,000. Zero only. எவ்வளோ வாட்டி சொன்னாலும் அதே பிரச்சனை தான். எப்படிடா 5 lakh மேல டாக்ஸ் கொடுத்தீங்க? எப்படி 5 lakh மேல டாக்ஸ் கொடுத்தீங்க? பேசிக் எக்ஸம்ஷன் லிமிட் யார் நான் கொடுக்கணுமா நீ கொடுக்கணுமா? For the first 2,50,000 tax is 0. For the balance 2.5 lakhs it will be at the rate of 20%. Number is 50,000 minus 12,500 of rebate. இப்போ மட்டும் 37,500 add 4% cess 39,500. சரி ஏதோ ஒன்று ஏதோ டே 5ல சொன்னீங்க சார் இனிமேல பார்த்துடலாம் சார் அப்படி அடிச்சிங்க யாரோ தெரியல அது ஏதோ someone came to me சார் டே 5 நான் நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ் நீங்க பாருங்க சார் நான் பண்ணி தரேன் கரெக்டா பண்ணி தருவேன் இல்லைன்னா அட்டெம்ப்ட் எழுத மாட்டேன் யாரா அந்த ஆளு கிளம்பிட்டான் இன்னைக்கு வரல தப்பிச்சிட்டான் You can't be making the same mistake again and again, people. Something is wrong. Okay. Whenever it comes to your capital gains, if you have an unexhausted basic exemption limit and you are a resident individual, you will first set off against your basic exemption limit and the balance alone will be taxable. Balance alone will be taxable. Cannot be making these kind of mistakes again and again. We have done it for like 4 times now. Okay, be careful on those items. Okay, yes. So your tax liability is 39,000. The tax liability is 39,000. Since the capital gains accrued on 20th March, which is after 15th March, quarter 4 installment is also over, which means he needs to make this payment of 39,000 before 31st March. If he makes the payment before 31st March, the interest will be 0. The interest will be 0. If he makes it after 31st March, 234C will not apply, but 234B will apply at the rate of 1%. Clear? Yes. The next answer is not important. The tax rate is important. Careful. You made the payment. Done. Entering the next chapter called as return filing. Okay. Entering the next chapter called as return filing. I'm clarifying it right away. In the middle of the chapter, you will find somewhere called as updated return, ignoring those part of provisions. Okay. Entering the chapter called as return filing. Basically, the provisions are coming and saying, boss, if you remember your golden rules, we started from step number 1, ended up until step number 14, I think. Ended up until step number 14, where we said you have to compute your final tax liability. Okay. Step number 15 is where we came and said, boss, you now need to file your return of income. So we are into step number 15 of our golden rules, coming and saying that we need to file our return of income. First question which they asked is, who should file a return? Who should? Sorry. First question they asked is, who should file your return? They came and said, boss, anyone who is generally liable to tax is to file a return. Anyone who is generally liable to tax is to file a return. Meaning, a company and a firm, do you have a basic exemption limit? Do you have a basic exemption limit for a company and a firm? So should they file a return? Mandatory. Yes. For anyone else who has a basic exemption limit, they came and said, boss, if your gross total income is more than the basic exemption limit, file a return. What? Gross total income is more than your basic exemption limit, you need to file a return. Please understand, it is not your total income, it is your gross total income. Okay. Even though you are going to pay tax on your total income, for the purpose of return filing, you will check your gross total income. Here is where they put an extra addition and they came and said, boss, it is not just gross total income, it is gross total income ignoring any kind of 54 exemptions which you have. Any kind of 54. What is 54 exemptions? Capital gains. Capital gains 54 EC, 54F, 54, 54F, 54 EC, 54 B and D for those who read it. 54 B and D for those who read it. For those who do not read it, doesn't matter. Okay. If you take your gross total income, remove all those exemptions which you claim, and if that amount is more than your basic exemption limit, you are mandatory required to file your return of income. This is what the provisions come and say. Rahul, I have no gross total income in the current year. I have no gross total income in the current year, or it is less than the 2,50,000 limit or 3 lakh or 5 lakh limit. Should I file my return? Yes. Should I file my return? Yes. When? There are certain scenarios where they have given to you, where they have told they have to mandatory file your return of income. Scenario number 1, they are coming and saying, if you have a current account, what do you have? If you have a current account and you have deposited more than 1 crore in that current account, you need to mandatory file a return, whether or not you have an income in the current year. Whether or not you have an income in the current year. It's not a current account, Rahul, it's a savings account. Half of it, meaning 50 lakhs. If you have deposited more than 50 lakhs in your savings account, then also you need to file a return of income. Then they came and said, boss, if you have gone for a foreign travel, or sponsored someone else's foreign travel, I don't care. You should be the one making the payment. If you are the one who's making the payment and you've made a payment more than 2 lakh rupees for a foreign travel, you need to file a return. Question to you, simple example, what is happening? Wife has traveled for Bali trip, Switzerland trip. Your wife has traveled for a Switzerland trip and you have made all the payment, obviously. Yes, in that case, who needs to file the return? Husband or wife? Husband will file the return. It is about who incurred the money, it's not about who enjoyed the money. It is about who incurred the money. So if you have incurred more than 2 lakh rupees for foreign travel, you need to file a return of income. Clear? Next, they are coming and saying, if you have paid for electricity charges more than 1 lakh rupee, which year? Current year. If you paid for electricity charges more than 1 lakh rupee, then also you need to file a return of income. Next, they came and said, boss, if you are into business, you have to have a turnover of more than 60 lakhs. If you are into profession, you need to have a turnover of more than 10 lakhs. If you have these conditions satisfied, also you need to file a return of income. And the last provision they are coming and saying, if you are liable for TDS, someone has deposited TDS for you. In that case, if you are resident senior citizen and your TDS is more than 50,000, mandatory file return. If you are non-senior citizen, if it is more than 25,000, you need to file a return. In this, this one and this one was an amendment last year. Last year meaning last November. Last November this was an amendment and not anything was tested. Nothing of this was tested. So likelihood that it will be tested in the current exam. What are they coming and saying? If you have deposited in current account more than 1 crore, if you have deposited in savings more than 50 lakhs, if you have gone for a foreign travel and incurred 2 lakhs, if you have incurred for electricity 1 lakh, if someone has deposited TDS for you for a resident senior citizen, non-resident senior citizen 25,000, and if you have a business, turnover is more than, profession turnover is more than, in these scenarios you need to file a return of income, mandatory, even if you don't have a income, Clear? Apart from this, they came and said, boss, if you are someone who has assets outside India, you have assets outside India or bank account outside India then also you need to file a return. But yes, if you are the only owner of the account but someone else is enjoying the account, if you are merely the owner of the account and someone else is enjoying the account, either of the two can file the return. Whoever files the return, the other person is not required to file a return. So either you are the beneficial owner or you are the beneficiary. Either you are the beneficial owner or the beneficiary. Anyone can file the return. Whoever files the return, the other person is not required to file a return. When is this applicable? You have a foreign asset or you have a foreign bank. You have a foreign asset or a foreign bank. Clear? Yes. This is what the provisions come and say. Then they come and clarify that, boss, if you are going for an agriculture income, which means you have tea business, for example, you have tea business. If the income from tea business is 10 lakhs, you are going to tax only 4 lakhs. You are going to tax only 4 lakhs. In that scenario, they are coming and saying, Rahul, let's say, for example, you are a resident senior citizen more than 80 years. Your basic exemption limit is 5 lakhs. In this scenario, will you come and check the 10 lakhs or will you come and check the 4 lakhs? You will come and check the 4 lakhs. Check your total income. Don't check your overall income. Check your total income. My total income is 4 lakh rupees, which is less than 5 lakh rupees. Therefore, I will not be required to file a return. I will not be required to file a return. Clear? Clear? Now that we have understood who should file a return, we should ask, when should you file your return? We came and said, boss, if you are liable for audit, file a return on 31st October. Rahul, not liable for audit, file it on 31st July. My firm is liable for audit. Partner will also go to 31st October. Partner will also go to 31st October. If Rahul, I am a company, due date is 31st October. Because companies are mandate audit. So the provisions are coming and saying, boss, if you are a company, the due date is 31st October. If you are a firm, due date is, it can be either. Depends on whether you are required for audit or not. If you are required for audit, it is 31st October. If not required for audit, it is 31st July. Partner of a firm which is audited. Sleeping partner of the firm which is audited. Last year's amendment, 31st October. Last year, Variko, it was active and sleeping partner difference. Now they came and said, no, nothing doing, boss. Any partner of the firm which is liable for audit, everyone has to file the return on 31st October. Everyone has to file it on 31st October. MCQ question for you, so be careful. In case the question comes and says, you are a sleeping partner of a firm who is liable for audit, your due date becomes 31st. Clear? Yes, Rahul, I did not file my return on time. What to do? You will be liable for 4 items. A, F, no carry forward losses. Heading C of chapter 6A. Let's understand all the 4 items. First item is 234A. Provisions are coming and saying, boss, if you did not file your return on time, from the next day, I will start levying interest at the rate of 1%. From the next day, I will start levying interest at the rate of 1%. Till when will I levy, Rahul? Till the date on which the return is filed. So it is 1% per month or part thereof from the date on which the return is, due date is over, till the date on which the return is filed. I will levy this 1% on what, Rahul? Levy the 1% on whatever amount not paid until the due date. Levy 1% on whatever the amount is not paid until the due date. So if my due date is 31st July and I have paid all the money until 31st July, my 234A will become 0. I, Rahul, had to pay 5 lakh rupees. I paid 2 lakh rupees until 31st July. After that, I paid 1 lakh rupees on 31st August. But I filed my return in December only. They come and say, boss, 5 lakhs less than 1 lakhs you paid. So 4 lakh rupees until December you will be liable. I will not give you the benefit coming and saying 1 lakh you cannot set off. You will still be liable for interest on that 5 lakh rupees until December. Clear? Same rules of round down to the nearest 100 will apply. Next one was 234F. Next rules was 234F. Provisions come and say, Rahul, if you have not filed your return on time, no worries, you can file it until 31st December. But if you did not file your return on time, you will be levied a late filing fee of amount 5,000 rupees. Of amount 5,000 rupees. If you are not filing a return on time, you will be levied a late filing fees of 5,000 rupees until December per day, or one time. One time you will be levied a late filing fees of 5,000 rupees. But Rahul, I am a poor person. I am who? Meaning total income below 5 lakh rupees. If my total income is below 5 lakh rupees, the 5,000 will become 1,000 rupees. The 5,000 will become 1,000 rupees. If you are poor, you will levy 1,000 rupees. If you are middle class or rich, you will levy. Correct? Yes, this is what the provisions are for 234F. Next, carry forward we already discussed, and heading C also we already discussed. These are the 4 implications for you. These are the 4 implications for you. Any doubts? No? No? Provisions are like this. They are coming and saying, Rahul, I need to file my return. I need to file my return. I forgot to file my return. You can file it as belated. You can file it as belated until 31st December. Rahul, I filed my return, but I found some mistakes in the return. I can file a revised return. I can file a revised return until 31st December. Same provisions. Rahul, I filed a belated return. Can I revise it? Can I revise it? Yes. Can I revise a belated return? Yes. Till what date? 31st December. Rahul, I filed an original return. Can I revise it? Yes. Until 31st. Rahul, I filed a revised return for my belated return. I want to revise that return. I filed a belated return, revise that return, again want to revise the return. Allowed, not allowed? Allowed. Allowed. Return filing can be revised for any number of times. Any kind of return can be revised any number of times as long as you do it before 31st. Rahul, 31st December over. 31st December over. Due date itself is over. I don't know what to do now. What to do? Can I file a return? Can I file a return? Rahul, 31st December over. I had a original return. I revised it once. Second time I wanted to revise, forgot to revise. Forgot to revise. 31st December due date over. What can I do? Can I do something? What can you do? Can you do anything after 31st December? Can you do anything after 31st December? Until last year, the answer was no. Current year comes in updated return. Current year comes in updated return. Until last year, you cannot do anything. Until last year, you could not do anything. Meaning 31st December kapro, you are gone. 31st December kapro, you are gone. If you have lost money, you have lost money. If you have not paid money, they will put penalty on you. They will put penalty on you. But going forward, you have now something called as updated. Next class. Next class. Okay. These are your provisions. Clear? Yes, this is the amendment provisions for the current year, so be careful on those. We will discuss it tomorrow in detail. Okay. Next provision is updated return over, revised return also over. Correct? Yes. Next provision is who can file the return? Who can file the return? Rahul, I am an individual. Who should file my return? I am an individual. Who will file my return? Self will file the return. Rahul, I am not mentally stable. Guardian will file the return. Rahul, I am a non-resident. Either you file it on your own. If you are not able to file it, your authority, competent, who you have given a power of attorney, can file the return. Rahul, I am a firm. Any partner. Rahul, I am an LLP. Designated partner. Rahul, if designated partner not available. Very good. Any other? Major partner. Rahul, I am a company. Managing director. Managing director not available. Any director. Rahul, foreign company. Anyone with the power of attorney. Hey, simple logics, people. I don't have to explain it to you. Clear? Yes, these are what the provisions are. Rahul, the company is into liquidation. Your official liquidator will do it. I am the HUF of the company. Sorry, I am a HUF. Karta not available. Any adult member. Any adult, male, female. You are not trusting yourself itself. Any member can do it. Any member can do it. No male, no female and all. As long as that person is a major. As long as that person is a major, anyone can file the return. Clear? Yes. Yes, these are what the provisions are for return filing. Any doubts? Mandatory return filing when you have a loss, belated return, revised return, updated return for tomorrow's class. Who can file the return? Individual self, mentally incapacitated, who is competent to act, absent from India, holding power of attorney, HF is Karta, Karta absent, adult member, company managing director, not available, any director, non-resident company, person holding power of attorney, company under liquidation, liquidator, firm is managing partner not available, not minor partner, LLP in the designated partner, he is not available, any partner, local authority and all not coming for exam. Okay, defective return you can ignore. TRP ignore, 139 CD ignore, 234A we just discussed, 234F we discussed. If your total income is less than 5 lakhs it is 1000, more than 5 lakhs it is 5000. PAN for you to read, self reading, all this self reading. Who should furnish PAN? When should you furnish PAN? What are the limits to furnish PAN? You read on your own. I don't have anything to explain for you. You are not able to remember, ignore, go. Yes, next one. What is an Aadhaar number? What is an Aadhaar number? Income tax is coming and saying, boss, if you have a PAN and an Aadhaar, please link your PAN with Aadhaar. Due date. Due date to link your PAN with Aadhaar. Very good. This month, 31st March 2023. This is the last due date which is going on right now, 31st March 2023. Don't worry, 31st March they will extend it again. They will definitely extend it. For the past 5 years they are extending it. Every month they will extend it. Okay. So even now 31st March 2023, for your exams it is 31st March 23. But there is an amendment for your exam where they have come and clarified that, boss, if you have not linked your PAN with Aadhaar after 31st March 22, 31st March 22. If you have not linked your PAN with Aadhaar after 31st March 22, they are telling that we will levy something called as 234H on you. We will levy something called as 234H on you until 30th June, which means April 22, May 22, June 22. If you link it within these 3 months, I will levy a late filing fees of 500. If you link it after June until 2023, until after June, until 31st March 23, I will levy a late filing fee of 1000 rupees. Rahul, I did not link my PAN with Aadhaar. What will happen? Very good. The PAN will become inoperative. It will assume that you don't have a PAN number itself. It will be assumed that you don't have a PAN number itself, meaning going forward, if you quote your PAN somewhere, it will be treated as invalid and you will be liable for the penalty or the interest or any other special provisions which are applicable on you. After that, you link again, you will get it. You cannot get a new PAN number. That is illegal. What if? How will he get it? How will he get it? As per new rules. Okay, in case you are asking, as per new rules, if you want to apply for a PAN, you need to quote your Aadhaar number, then you will get a PAN number. Okay, it's not that easy in India anymore. Okay, Munadi and all, people used to have 5566 PAN and all, now and all not possible. Everything is linked properly. If you have not linked your PAN with Aadhaar and you choose to ignore your PAN and start with a new PAN, that new PAN you will have to give Aadhaar number. And the moment you give that, what will happen? It is auto linked. It is auto linked. After that, you will not be able to apply for another PAN. Okay, might as well apply for the old PAN itself, easier for you. At least you will not pay interest on it. Yes? Yes, these are what the provisions for return filing. Any doubts? Doubts? Done with the chapter. State with reasons whether you agree or disagree to the following statements. Return of income of an LLP could be verified by any partner. True or false? True or false? False. Why? It has to be done by a designated partner. Only if he is not available, then you will do it by any partner. Time limit for filing return of income for 139.1. In case of Mr. A, total turnover is given as 160 lakhs, 100 of which is received in cash. Whether or not opting for presumptive income is 31st October. True or false? They are saying that the turnover of the person is less than 2 crores. The person wants to file the return on 31st October. They are saying whether he chooses presumptive or not, he will always file it on 31st October. True or false? True or false? Why? If you are opting for presumptive, you are not liable for audit, in which case it is 31st July. The assessing officer has the power to allot PAN to any person on whom no tax is payable. True or false? True. He is your assessing officer, he can do anything in the world. He is your assessing officer, he can do anything in the world. He can come and say, you don't have a PAN, I will give it to you. Where the Karta of the HUF is absent from India, the return of income could be verified by any male member of the family. Unukdama. True or false? Any na soltangla. That simply means females are not allowed. Rendu onnadanda, but male itself is a problem. Nee minor vechalo okay, but male is a problem. And the point is, when you're talking about male, you don't generally use the word for childs and all. You will say any child also. When you're saying the word male, it generally means major only. Technically means major only. The problem is with the females here. I mean, problem is not with females, the problem is, male is also not a problem. Question is a problem. Seriya. Mr. Paras is age 55 years, is a resident of India. During the financial year 22-23, the interest of 2,88,000 was credited to his NRE account with SBI. 30,000 was interest on fixed deposit with SBI, was credited to his savings account during the period. He also earned 3,000 as interest on savings account. Is Paras required to file a return of income? Paras is whom? Paras is whom? Individual. So with the Paras being an individual, his return of filing will become mandatory if he has a gross total income more than 2,50,000. Let's understand what is gross total income is. Interest from NRE account, taxable exempt. Taxable exempt. Taxable exempt. I want a unanimous answer. Taxable exempt. When we discussed it at exactly 2:05 p.m., you cannot tell me taxable. You're writing May 23, no? Yes, any kind of income from NRE account is exempt from taxes. Then you have a interest on fixed deposit with SBI, taxable exempt. A taxable exempt, amount 30,000. Then interest on savings account. Interest on savings account amount is taxable exempt. Taxable total is, this is your less 80 TTA. Amount is amount is 3,000. Why pa? You can claim only on savings. You can claim only on savings, cannot claim on FD. Therefore, your total income is 30,000. Yes or no? Return filing, mandatory, not mandatory. Why? What is below a basic exemption? Number. 33,000 is below 2,50,000, therefore not required to file a return. What will be your answer if he has incurred 3 lakhs as travel expenditure of self and spouse to US to stay with his married daughter? What is mandatory? Why? A self and spouse, no? So 1,50,000 for self, 1,50,000 for spouse. It is depending on whoever has paid the income and whoever has paid the expenditure. Expenditure fully has been paid by Paras. Therefore, Paras has to file a return mandatory. Yes. Mrs. Heathel, an individual engaged in the business of beauty parlor, has got her books of accounts for the year ended 31st March 23 audited under 44 AB. Her total income for the assessment year 23-24 is 6,35,000. She wants to furnish a return of income through a TRP. Can she do so? No. Why and all does not matter. No. For those who want to understand, if you are liable for audit, TRP not applicable to you. Not coming in exam, ignore it. Mr. Vinith submits his return of income on 12th September 2023 for assessment year 23-24 under the consisting of the income under the head salaries, HP and bank interest. On 21st December 2023, he decided he did not claim the deduction under 80 TTA in respect of his interest income from savings bank account. He wants to revise his interest return of income. Can he do so? Examine. Yes or no? Why? Where is he? He's on 12th December, no? Can he do so? Yes. Provisions come and say if you have omitted any kind of errors, you can rectify it before the due date of 31st December. He is ready to do it on 21st December, therefore he can do so. Would your answer be different if we discovered the omission on 23rd March? Would your answer be different? What? Why? He had to revise his return before 31st December. He did not do it, therefore he cannot do it again. He cannot do it again. Rahul, updated return and all does not apply when you want to claim benefit. Updated return is only for department friend. Updated return is only for department friend. It will only let you pay more taxes. It will never let you reduce your taxes. So not applicable to you. Titriya, you will not. That is the whole problem of the updated return. Done? Yes. This is what the provisions are. Any doubts? No? With this we are done with what is called as return filing. Coming to the next chapter called as last chapter for your syllabus called as TDS. Shall we? 3 hours for you. Full-fledged TDS only. Full-fledged TDS only, 3 hours for you. We'll discuss the whole TDS chapter. If at all we have time permitted, we'll go into update return. If time permitted, we'll go into update return. Elena, we are doing only TDS for the next 3 hours. Let's work it out because I understand it's a pain area for most of the people. Don't worry, I'm also in pain only. Okay. Entering the chapter called as TDS. Entering the chapter called as TDS, it means tax deducted at source. Basically, income tax is coming and saying that, boss, if at all you are required to make any kind of payment, if at all you are required to make any kind of payment to any person, please ensure that you don't make the full payment to that person. Please ensure you don't make the full payment to that person. A part of that payment should be withheld by you and deposited to the government in the form of TDS. Only the balance payment should go to that person. Only the balance payment should go to that person. A simple example is where they're coming and saying if you have to make a payment of 100 rupees to someone, if you have to make a payment of 100 rupees to someone, don't make 100 to someone, make 90 to him and balance 10 you give it to government in the form of for whom? For me or them? For them. For them. This is what the provisions of TDS is. Question to you, I don't do this, what will happen? Whatever expense you try to claim as a deduction will be disallowed under the head TGBP. 30% for a resident, 100% for a resident. Now you should be resident or he should be resident? He should be a resident. Okay, if he is a resident, you will be 30% disallowed. If he is a non-resident, you will be 100% disallowed. Clear? Yes, this is what the agenda of TDS is. This is what the agenda of TDS is. And in my book at least, what will happen is you will see a summary which will be there in the first 2 pages. You will see a summary in my first 2 pages and then we will go into the main sections. In your study materials and all, what will happen is the section will have those kind of summaries, but I thought it's all common, so what I did is I put it in the first itself. I put in the first itself so that you understand it right away, so that we don't discuss it next. Okay. What we have done is we have tried to jot down some questions. We have tried to jot down some questions. First question is, when should you do TDS? When should you do TDS? Income tax comes and says you will do it on date of deduction or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Date of, not deduction, date of credit or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Date of credit of what? Date of credit of what? Think about your journal entries. Think about your journal entries. How would you credit money to the payer? Date of Adanda credit. Whom are you crediting or what are you crediting? Sales na unake expense income ada loose. This is an expense for you. What is entry you will pass? Huh? Somebody. If you debit someone, that is debtor for you, not creditor for you. Hey, journal asoli tarno. What is the entry you will pass when you are going to pay someone? Expense to, you are going to pay someone, there is a name. Seri, expense to creditor account. Whom are you crediting? Creditor. It is date of credit of the deductee in your books or date of payment, whichever is earlier. When you credit the party in your books for a liability, or the date on which you make the payment to him in the form of an advance, whichever is earlier will be the date on which you do the TDS. But they have given certain exceptions to you where they came and said, boss, it is not possible to do on the date of credit because I might not know. One example is casual income, meaning vendings. Will you know today itself whom you are going to give? No. Next they came and said dividend. Why? Will you know today itself who is your shareholder? No. Then they came and said government. Abdina? Compulsory acquisition. If government is going to give you the payment, he cannot give you credit today when he has not even made the payment to you. So only do the credit when the payment is received by you. Only do the payment credit when the payment is received by you. Next they came and said salaries. They came and said, boss, whenever you are making the payment of salaries, that day you deduct TDS. And then they came and said any salary related components like withdrawal from PF. So what are the items where you will only do it on payment basis? Casual incomes, compulsory acquisitions, dividends, salary, withdrawal from PF. Last item they came and said any kind of withdrawal from bank. Cash withdrawals from bank, 194N. If you are going to withdraw your own money from the bank, bank will yesterday itself not know that you are going to withdraw money. So whenever you withdraw money, he will deduct TDS. Okay, so these are the items. Look down. TDS should be deducted at the time of credit of the party in your books or payment, whichever is earlier, ignoring those kind of scenarios where it is salary, withdrawal from PF, winnings, dividend, compulsory acquisition, cash withdrawals. Then we came and said, Rahul, how much we should deduct TDS? They came and said, boss, I will give you a rate. Whatever rate I give you, that is the rate you will deduct TDS on. Deduct TDS on. Don't add any kind of surcharge. Don't add any kind of cess. If I tell you the rate is 10%, deduct at 10%. But Rahul, if you are going to give it to an employee, or you are going to give it to a non-resident, I am telling you, boss, deduct everything right now itself. Meaning including surcharge and cess, because I don't want the other person to waste time on this. So you will deduct full TDS in case of a salary case or non-resident cases. Balance every cases you will deduct at the actual rate. Next question, who should deduct TDS? Income tax comes and says everyone who is making a payment should deduct TDS. Except for hijacker. HIJACR. Except for these sections 194H, 194I, 194J, 194A, 194C, 194R. Except for these cases, everywhere you have to mandatorily deduct TDS. In these cases, you will only be required to deduct TDS if you are an individual or HUF more than your 1 crore of business turnover or 50 lakhs of your profession turnover. If your turnover goes more than 1 crore in business and profession turnover goes more than 50 lakhs, in that case only you will be required to deduct TDS. Meaning if you are an individual or HUF less than 1 crore, will you deduct TDS for hijacker? No. Will you deduct TDS for 192? Yes, you will deduct TDS. You are a company. Will you deduct TDS under 194J? You are a company. Will you deduct TDS under 194J? Yes. The exception is only for an individual or HUF less than the limit. Less than the limit. Rahul, what year should I check the limit for? You should check the limit for your last to last previous year. Last two. Abdina? 2021. Your previous year is? Then you should check for 21-22. Check for. Hey, last previous year is this previous year. Yes or no? Adan they will say no current previous year. Abdina enna artham? Your previous year. Last to last previous year meaning 2021. Last previous year ku last previous year. Seri abdi vechiko. Your preceding previous year turnover check panno. Check your preceding previous year's turnover. If it is more than 1 crore, you will deduct TDS under hijacker. If it is less than 1 crore, you will not deduct TDS under hijacker. Who will not deduct? Individual and HUF. Clear? Yes. Next, they are coming and saying, boss, if there is a threshold limit given in the section, if there is a threshold limit given in the section, for example, 194H comes and says 15,000 rupees. 194H comes and says 15,000 rupees. This 194H order 15,000 rupees is applicable for the full year. Is applicable for the full year. Second, they are coming and saying if the payment is less than 15,000, no TDS. But if the payment goes beyond 15,000, TDS will happen from rupee 1. If it is more than 15,000, TDS will happen from rupee 1. Except for two cases. Case number 1, they are coming and saying if you are into 194N. 194? And 194N talks about cash withdrawals, where they are coming and saying limit ka malada TDS. Limit ka malada TDS. And the next is 194Q. 194Q talks about purchase of goods. There also they are coming and saying limit ka mala mattada TDS. Balance every other case, you will have to do TDS from rupee 1 if the threshold is breached. The threshold is breached. Clear? Clear. Next, they are coming and saying, Rahul, when and all should I deduct TDS? They are coming and saying you should deduct TDS every time. You should deduct TDS every time, meaning whether it is personal or official. Whether it is personal or official, except for two sections, 194C, 194J. C talks about contract, J talks about professional. They are saying, boss, in these two scenarios, only business cases you have to deduct TDS, balance cases you don't have to deduct TDS. Last, they are coming and saying, Rahul, what if the other person does not support me? What if the other person does not support me? We said, boss, he cannot support you in two ways. He cannot support you in two ways. One way where he did not give you the PAN number. He did not give you the PAN number. We will come and say, boss, if he did not give you the PAN number, actual rate or 20%, whichever is higher. Actual rate or 20%, whichever is higher, you deduct TDS at the highest rate. Deduct TDS at the highest rate, meaning actual rate or 20%, whichever is higher. No, Rahul, this person is given me the PAN number, but forgot to file his return. Forgot to file his return. I will say, boss, latest return which he did not file, I will check that. I will check his latest return, and I will also check whether he mandatory did not file a return or he was not required to file a return. He mandatory did not file his return or was not required to file return. Provisions basically come and say, check whether the other person did not file the return for that year where his TDS was more than 50,000 rupees. TDS was more than 50,000 rupees, meaning that person should not have filed a return and should have a TDS more than 50,000 rupees in the latest year for which return is mandatory. Latest year for which return is mandatory. You are in previous year 22, 23. Until your previous year, which return would have been filed? Until your previous year, which return would have been filed? Will it be 21, 22? It will be 2021. It will be 2021. Please understand, people, 21-22 order return, you will file it on 31st October 22. But 2021 return, you would have filed it on 31st October 21. That is the return which you would have not filed. So what they are telling is, check for your assessment year. Assessment year 21-22. check for your assessment year 21-22. If assessment year 21-22 was filed within time, great. If it was not filed within time, check whether he has TDS more than 50,000. If he does not have TDS more than 50,000, great. If he has TDS more than 50,000, he is a defaulter. He is a defaulter. In this case, I have told boss, I will deduct TDS at actual rate twice. Meaning, twice the actual rate or 5%, whichever is higher. Twice the actual rate or 5%, whichever is higher. Rahul, 194C comes and says you should deduct TDS at 2%. In this case, you will deduct TDS at 5%. 194I comes and says TDS is 10%. You should deduct TDS at 20%. Rahul, winnings come and say TDS is 30%. They put an exception. They came and said, day rate, air convey 30 irukku, adukku mela na potta gali pochu. So they came and said, boss, certain exceptions I am giving it to you. In these cases, this section will not apply. In these cases, this section will not apply. First case is salary. Why? Salary itself is average rate. Salary itself is average rate. Adukku mela twice potta, no use. Then they came and said winnings. Why? Winnings already is 30. Adukku mela twice potta gali pochu. Then they came and said withdrawals. What withdrawals? Cash withdrawals. Why? Because cash withdrawals has a special provision. Cash withdrawals have a special provision. And the current year amendments are 194IA, IB and 194M. 194IA, IB and 194M. These are those cases where individual HUF are required to deduct TDS. They said, boss, for these people already TDS was a mata fodi. They were already having so much struggle with deducting TDS. If you are asking for special provisions and all, he will not be able to remember. So ignore it and go. Last, they're coming and saying, Rahul, this person is useless. That guy has not given you PAN also, he's not filing return also. He's not giving you PAN also, he's not filing return also. What to do? What to do? Deduct at the highest of the both. Deduct at the highest of the both. Meaning, if 20% is higher, then deduct at 20%. If 5% or twice is higher, then deduct at that rate. Okay. So it is highest of the both. It is highest of the both. Whatever is the highest, you will deduct at that rate. Clear? Yes. These are what your summaries are. These are what your summaries are. I am not going to discuss the summaries as we go into the next part. Any doubts in the summaries to know? No. Provisions are what? You need to deduct TDS mandatory. If not, you will have a PGBP disallowance. When should you do TDS? You should do it on payment or credit, whichever is earlier. How much you should do TDS for? You should do it up to a threshold limit. If up to threshold limit you are, no TDS for you. If it goes beyond threshold limit, do from rupee 1. Who and all should do TDS? Everyone should do TDS except for hijacker cases where it will only be who will not be required to do TDS? Individual HF with a turnover less than 1 crore or 50 lakhs in previous year 21-22. In previous year 21-22. You should do it for every case, whether it is business or official, but C and J, you should only do it for business purposes. If you don't give a PAN number, it is actual rate or 20%, whichever is higher. You don't file your return on time, it is 2 times the rate or 5%, whichever is higher. Clear? Clear the summaries? Yes, can we go into the sections? Starting from the first section called as 192. Starting from the first section called as 192, not relevant for exam. Not relevant for exam. Simple thing you need to remember from exam perspective, boss, if it is salary person, deduct at average rate. Deduct at average rate. The only question which will come in exam is employer should deduct TDS, which means employer should verify the claims. Employer should verify the claims. Someone is planning to claim HRA from you. Someone is planning to claim HRA from you. What are the deductions you will, what are the items you will check from the employee? You are the employer. Employee is coming and saying, I want to claim HRA from you. You are supposed to verify some documents. What documents will you verify? Look at the exemption. Exemption says HRA, you can claim least of the 3. Item number 1. Do you have that or you want it? Does employer already have the salary HRA details, or does he get it from the employee? Do you already have it or will you check? Already have, so nothing to check. Point number 2. 50% or 40% of salary. 50% when it is metropolitan, 40% when it is not metropolitan. So you will check where the house is. So you need what? House address. Point number 3. Rent paid minus 10% of salary. Do you have salary? Do you have the salary details? Do you want it from him? No. What do you need? So you will get from him rent receipt. You will get from him rent receipt. So what are the items what are the items you will need to check from him? House address, rent receipt. If at all he is asking for you, you will take the rent agreement also. If at all he is going to pay rent, you need to verify whether the other person is true or not. So we will get to that person's PAN number also, which means landlord's PAN number. That is what you need to remember from exam perspective. Okay, you don't have to remember anything else. Just remember what are the exemptions. At the base money, what documents you will give. At the base money, whatever documents you will give. One item which you need to remember from exam perspective is they come and say, boss, you can only set off HP loss against your salaries. You can only set off HP loss against your salaries. Meaning, if the employee comes and gives you PGBP loss, will you consider? He gives you capital gains loss, will you consider? So they are coming and saying, boss, whenever the employer is computing the TDS, he will check for only the HP loss, will not check for any other loss, will not check for any other loss. But yes, if the employee comes and gives you the income of PGBP, will you consider? Consider. If he gives you capital gains income, will you consider? Consider. If he gives you IFOS income, will you consider? Okay. So if the employee comes and gives you the income, consider. If he gives you the loss, only HP. Balance, everything will be ignored. That is between you and me, ma. That is only what we discuss in the class. Income tax does not know about. Seriya? Yes. Other sources losses can be set off against salaries. Yes. Between my class students only, not for anyone else. Not for anyone else. Man, outside market does not know about it. It's a secret between us. Okay, so let's not share it outside. Okay. ICA also does not know. ICA also does not know. Technically, other sources losses can be set off against salaries. If you have a loss. Solli thandanna, unukku nyamagam illa. I told it. என்னடா சொல்றான்? Gadgets. Puttra. Point is, when it comes to salary income, nothing can be set off against salary income except for HP loss. But if you actually notice the provisions, you will realize IFOS loss can also be set off against your salary incomes. It is just not clarified anywhere. It is just not clarified anywhere, because if you notice other sources losses, I told you, you can set off. You can set off, but you cannot carry forward. You cannot carry forward. So current year IFOS losses can be set off against your salary income, but that is just between me and you. Okay, that is a loophole in the Income Tax Act, which only I and you know. Income tax does not know. ICA also does not know. So we will not discuss in the exam perspective. Velila poitu go and tell it to someone in case you want to get money out of it. Free advice kuduttarada. Don't give it as free advice. I am losing money on it. Okay, clear? Yes, these are what the provisions are for 192. These are the provisions for 192. Next comes in 192A. Next comes in 192A. These provisions are coming and saying that, boss, if you withdraw something from your PF, if you withdraw something from your PF, that will be liable for TDS. Who will collect the TDS? Who will collect the TDS? Hey, who has the PF money? Who has the PF money? PF authorities. So who will deduct TDS? PF authorities. So provisions come and say PF authorities will deduct TDS at the rate of 10% on whatever amount they give it back to the employee. Give back to the employee only if the income is taxable. Only if the income is taxable. When will the income be taxable for PF? When it is? What is it? Premature. Very good. When you withdraw from PF less than 5 years, RPF cases, if you withdraw less than 5 years, then only it will be taxable. Otherwise, it is exempt from taxes. Statutory, we told it is exempt. PPF, we told it is exempt. URPF was anyways taxable. That will not be with the PF authorities. It will not be with the PF authorities. RPF is only left. RPF, they are coming and saying if you withdraw less than 5 years, it will become taxable. Except in cases where you take it, take it for health, then close down of business, they threw you out, then transfer to another employee, transfer to another employment, transfer to another employment. These are the 4 cases where it will not be taxable. Balance, every case it will be taxable. If it is taxable, you deduct TDS at the rate of. Clear? Yes. Next one, 192A over 193. Next one is 193. Ignore from exam perspective, not coming in exam. Ignore from exam perspective, not coming in exam. Next, 194A. Next is 194A. We are starting with the hijacker case. We are starting with the hijacker case. The first item in hijacker called as 194A, meaning these provisions apply to, it applies to any person and an individual and a HUF only if they have a turnover more than 1 crore in case of business and 50 lakhs in case of profession. Okay, if it is a company, firm and all, everyone has to mandatorily do TDS. Provisions come and say if you are going to get any kind of interest, if you are going to get any kind of interest, please ensure that the TDS on that interest is 10%. TDS on that interest is 10%, subject to a limit. Subject to a limit. What is the limit? They are coming and saying, boss, if it is a savings account, if it is a savings account, no TDS. Savings account, no TDS. If it is a fixed deposit, what is it? Fixed deposit and an RD. What is RD? Recurring deposit. If it is an FD or an RD, check what is the interest for the whole year. Check what is the interest for the whole year. If you are a resident senior citizen and the interest is more than 50,000, TDS at the rate of 10% will apply. If you are a non-resident senior citizen, in that case you will check only for a limit of 10,000 rupees. You will check only for a limit of 10,000 rupees. So resident senior citizen 50,000, non-resident senior citizen 10,000 rupees. Limits are that much. If you don't satisfy the conditions, TDS at the rate of 10% from rupee 1 or 50,000 from rupee 1. From rupee 1, these are the provisions. Clear? Yes. Here they come and say, boss, any kind of interest from savings, not TDS. Any kind of interest received by partner from a partnership firm, no TDS. Any kind of interest given by government, any kind of interest given by government, TDS, not TDS, no TDS. Any kind of interest you give to government, any kind of interest you give to government, TDS, not interest, no TDS. Hey, you giving to government one account to another account, what is the difference? What will you tell the government? Sir, I am paying in your government account, I will collect from that account and again pay in that account. Correct? Government authorities, any kind of TDS will not apply. Government authorities, no TDS will apply. They will also not deduct TDS. You will also not give them TDS. Clear? Yes. Last item is here coming in 194 and coming and saying, boss, if it is a bank, if it is a bank, you will check for the limit of 10,000 and 50,000 per branch. Per branch. Only if the bank does not have a CBS. Only if the bank does not have a, what the hell is a CBS? Core banking solutions. If the bank does not have a CBS, you will check for the 10,000 and 50,000 limit per branch. If the bank has a CBS, you will check it per bank. You will check it per bank. For example, if Kotak is there, Kotak is in Anna Nagar, Kotak is in Madhavaram, Kotak is in Mumbai. You have 3 different Kotak accounts. Yes, in all the 3 Kotak accounts, you created one FD. You created one FD. All the FDs together is going beyond 50,000 rupees. Will you deduct TDS? Yes. Why? Because Kotak has a CBS. If you go to that same area, it is not Kotak, it is ABC Bank, does not have a CBS. Will you check for the limits per bank or per branch? Per branch. Clear? Yes. So this is 194A. This is 194A. Any doubts? No. Next provision is after A comes B. After A comes B, starts with winnings. Starts with winnings. Provisions come and say that, boss, if you have any kind of winnings, if you have any kind of winnings and the winnings go beyond 10,000 for the year, winnings go beyond 10,000 for the year, the person who is giving you the winnings will deduct TDS at the rate of 30%. Will deduct TDS at the rate of 30%. Please appreciate here, people. TDS is being deducted at the rate of 30% without any surcharge and cess. Meaning any kind of surcharge and cess applying on that will have to be paid in the form of advance tax. Yes. If at all there is an income of 1 crore, on that TDS is 30%. They have only deducted 30 lakh rupees. But you are liable for surcharge and cess. So that surcharge and cess will have to be paid by you in the form of advance tax, provided it goes beyond 10,000 rupees. If it is less than 10,000 rupees, you will pay it in the form of self-assessment tax. Why will you pay it advance? You will pay it in the form of self-assessment tax. Clear? Yes. Yes, this is what the provisions are. Any doubts now? No? This is for winnings. This is for winnings. Question comes and says, boss, you have given someone winnings in car. You have given someone a winnings of car. What to do? You need to deduct TDS. You need to deduct TDS. Will you collect one tire from him? Then what will you do? Huh? Will you collect the tire from him? Fair market value of the car. You will tell him that boss, I need to pay TDS on your behalf. So first you pay me the TDS, then I will give you the car. Don't collect the FMV itself. Car e poidum. The FMV is 30%. FMV na car oda FMV da. TDS is 30% ra. Collect 30% of FMV ya. Apdi sollu. Collect FMV na enna artham? Appadina car e thiruppi vaangida. It's basically like you're coming and telling, sir, unakku free lottery ana kaasu kuduthurunga. Adi eppadi? Correct? So you will go and tell the other person that boss, if you want a winnings from me, please pay me the TDS first and then I will release the car to you. And then I will release the car to you. Any doubts? No? Coming to the next section called as 194. C. Next hijacker. Next hijacker called as 194. C. C stands for contracts. C stands for contracts. Provisions come and say that boss, if you are going to make any kind of contract payment, if you're going to make any kind of contract payment, check whom are you making the payment to. Check whom are you making the payment to. If you're making the payment to an individual and HUF, deduct 1%. If you're making the payment to anyone other than an individual and HUF, deduct 2%. Deduct 2%. Up to what limits, Rahul? If it is an individual payment, it should not go beyond 30,000 rupees. If it is overall payment, it should not go beyond 1 lakh rupees for the whole year. Individually should not go beyond 30,000 rupees per payment and 1 lakh rupees per year. 1 lakh rupees per year. If it goes beyond that, you need to deduct TDS from rupee 1. You need to deduct TDS from rupee 1. Who will be liable for deducting TDS? Any person and an individual in HF subject to the limits. Subject to the limits. What do you cover in this? You cover contract of work. You cover contract of work. You don't cover contract of goods because contract of goods go under 194 Q. Contract of goods go under 194 Q. You are covering contract of work. You are covering contract of work. Here is where they come and say, boss, if you are a transport operator, who are you? If you are going to make a payment to a transport operator, check with the transport operator if he has less than 10 vehicles. Check with the transport operator if he has less than 10 vehicles. If he has less than 10 vehicles and gives you a declaration saying, I am having less than 10 vehicles, here is my PAN number. Here is my PAN number. TDS will not apply. TDS will not apply. The transport operator has to give you what? PAN number, then a declaration saying he has less than 10 vehicles. Rahul, I gave my PAN number but I did not give declaration. TDS is at the rate of 1 or 2%. Rahul, I gave him a declaration but forgot to give PAN number. TDS is 20%. TDS is 20%. Rahul, I did not give him declaration also, I did not give him PAN also. Number Ra. 20% or what? Yes, yes. Rahul, I did not give him declaration, I did not give him PAN number, I did not give him return also. Rate Ra. 20%. That is the highest of the rates. No, it is 1 or 2 twice potalo, it is 20 only higher. Okay, so that case also you will do 20%. Clear? Yes, these are what the provisions are. And next they are coming and saying, boss, if someone you are engaging for a job work, you are engaging for a, what is job work? You will supply the raw materials to them and you ask them to make the final product. Provisions here come and say, boss, if you are going to supply the raw materials to them either by yourself or through your associate, or through your, what is associate? This is not accounts, Ra. What is associate? 40A2. 40? Abdina? PGBP relatives. PGBP relatives meaning left side of the family. Left side of the family. If you are going to do it along with either from your side or from your left side of the family, in that case, I will treat it as a 194C. If not, I will treat it as 194Q. I will treat it as 194Q. Rahul, I engaged him for doing advertisement for me. I engaged him for doing advertisement for me. I told him that, boss, advertisement, I will tell you what to do advertisement. You prepare advertisement basis that. TDS under section 194C. I went to him and I said, I want to do a Lux ad, you tell me what to do. He came and said, Rahul, I already have the product ready. Here, you take the advertisement. None of the sections. None of the sections. This is off the shelf. This is off the shelf. Provisions come and say, if he is making the advertisement basis your decision, it is 194C. C. If he is giving you an off-the-shelf advertisement, it is no TDS. It is no TDS. Clear? Yes. With this, we are done with 194. C. Next 194. DA. D is not there, so D. A. Talks about life insurance. Talks about life insurance. Provisions are coming and saying, boss, if the LIC policy is taxable, if what? LIC's policy is taxable, how does the LIC policy become taxable? How does an LIC policy become taxable? Refer chapter 6A. Refer chapter 6A. If your premium on the policy goes beyond 20% or 10%, that policy becomes taxable. If the policy is less than 20% or less than 10%, policy is exempt. Policy is exempt. Provisions come and say, first understand whether the policy is taxable or exempt. How do you check? Check for the premium. Check for the premium. If the premium is more than 20%, then it is taxable. If the premium is more than 10%, also the premium, it is taxable. If it is less than, not taxable. So they're coming and saying, find out whether the premium policy is taxable or exempt. If you find out that the policy is taxable, check how much did you receive as an amount. Check how much did you receive as an amount. If you received less than 1 lakh rupees, ignore, no TDS. If you received less than 1 lakh rupees, ignore, no TDS. You received more than 1 lakh rupees. In that case, they're coming and saying, whatever is your income on that 5%. Whatever is your income on that 5%. Rahul, you received 1,20,000. That is your receipt. That is your receipt. You already paid from your pocket called premium. Reduce the premium amount, which means 1,20,000 minus, let's say, 50,000 of premium amount is 70,000. 70,000 into 5% will be your TDS. Okay. So for the purpose of threshold of 1 lakh rupees, you look at the amount which you receive. But for the purpose of TDS, you will check the income. You will check the income. Clear? Not clear? Clear? This is 194 D. A. I am rushing a little bit because there is nothing for me to explain. Padchada unukku puriyum. Okay, na eppadi pesnalum onnu puriyadu. Yes. Next one is 194 E. Next one is 194 E. This comes and talks about non-residents. This is the only section which talks about non-residents because everything else has been moved to final level. Everything else has been moved to final level. So this is the only provision which talks about non-resident. Provision comes and says you are either a sports person. Who are you? Sports person. Or you are an entertainer. Or you are a sports organization. Or you are a sports organization. They are coming and saying if you are a sports person, what will you come to India for? Playing. So either you have come to India for playing or you have come to India for advertisement. That is entertainer. Okay. If you are a sports person, either you have come to India for playing, or you have come to India for advertisement, or you have come to India for writing articles, Any of these three scenarios, it will be taxable under 194E. It will be taxable under 194E. If you are an entertainer, what will you come to India for? Singing, entertainment. What will you come to India for? Entertainment, for performing. And if you are a sports organization, what have you come to India for? For collabing with other organizations. If you receive income from any of these items, TDS will be taxable at the rate of 20 plus cess. Why cess? Because he is a non-resident. Normally the rate is flat rate, but if it is a non-resident or a salaried person, you have to do including surcharge and cess. Here it is a cess element because it is a non-resident. So the provisions come and say if a sports person comes to India for playing, for doing advertisements or for doing an articles, if an entertainer comes to India for doing entertainment, or if a sports organization comes to India for getting some kind of guarantee charges from another organization, whatever income they earn will be taxable at the rate of 20.8%. 20.8%. No limits. From rupee 1, everything is taxable. Rahul, this sports person, Bretley, came to India, one lottery income. One TDS will be at the rate of 30%. Okay, 194B will come into picture. 194B will come into picture. Clear? Yes. E over F is not there for exam. G is not there for exam. H is hijacker. Next case. H is your next case for hijacker called as 194. Yes. Next case is your 194 H talks about commission. Provisions come and say if there is a principal agent relationship. What is it? Principal agent relationship, and you pay commission or brokerage because of this relationship to the other person, you will deduct TDS at the rate of 5%. Provided the threshold limit is 15,000. Threshold limit is, if the number goes beyond 15,000, then in that case you will deduct TDS. If the number does not go beyond 15,000, no TDS. Clear? Simple provision. Next, after H comes I. I talks about rent. Next hijacker case talks about rent. Comes and says that if you are going to receive any kind of property from someone on rent, that will be liable for TDS under 194I. At what rate will you deduct? If it is a plant and machinery, you will deduct 2%. If it is a plant and machinery, you will deduct 2%. If it is an immovable property, you will deduct 10%. Plant and machinery 2%, immovable property 10%. What is the limit? Limit is 2,40,000. Here they are clarifying to you 2,40,000 is per deductor. 2,40,000 is per deductor, meaning. Let's say you went to one deductor and you bought a building and you also took a fridge. You took a building and a fridge. Building is 2 lakh, fridge is 60,000. Will you deduct TDS? Not deduct TDS. Question Purinjda. You went to one person, asked him to give you a building and a fridge. Building he charged you 2 lakh rupees, fridge he charged you 60,000 rupees. Will you deduct TDS on that payment? Yes or no? Why? It is 2,40,000 per deductor. So that person you are going to pay 2,40,000. But here you will deduct TDS at different rates. For 2 lakhs you will deduct at 10%. For 60,000 you will deduct at. Clear? Yes. Please understand what you are deducting under 194I is for the rent services. I go to someone and I come and say, boss, I want your warehousing facility, which is a cold chain facility. I am taking the facility for the property or for the cold chain facility. In this case, TDS will be under 194I or 194C. C. It will apply under 194C. 194I only applies when you are taking the property for the property and not for the service. Here I am taking it for the cold facility. Clear, not clear? Yes, this is 194I. 194I or a subsidiary is called as 194IB. Where they come and say if you are not liable under 194I, you will be liable under 194IB. Who will not be liable under 194I? Who cannot be liable under 194I? Hijacker cases, individual HF not crossing the limits. If you do not cross the limits, you will not be liable under I, you will come under IB. Provisions come and say if you are an individual HF not crossing the limits, if you make a payment of more than 50,000 per month, 50,000 per month to someone, TDS will be at the rate of 5%. If you are going to make a rent payment to more than 50,000 per month. One extra benefit given to you, they are coming and saying, boss, in these scenarios, you do not have to deduct TDS every month. You can deduct TDS on the last day of the year. Rahul, I quit the property in December itself. What to do? Deduct TDS in December. Or March, whichever is. You will deduct TDS on December or March, whichever is earlier or later. You will deduct TDS on December or March, whichever is earlier. So basically, you have to deduct TDS on the last rent payment for the year or the month in which you exit the property, whichever is earlier. Rahul, I did not give PAN to him. Because of which TDS rate is now 20%. But the problem what happened is the TDS for the last month, the rent for the last month is only 5,000 rupees. But the TDS for the full year is now showing 50,000. What will I do? I will tell him, boss, 5,000 I will give you 0 rupees. 5,000 I will give you 0 rupees. Full 5,000 I will deposit to government, 45,000 ignore. Provisions come and say it is the last month's rent or the actual TDS, whichever is lower. whichever is lower. Clear? Not clear? Clear. Next provision is 194IA. What? 194IA. Provisions come and say if you are going to sell a immobile property, what are you going to sell? Immobile property. Whatever immobile property you are going to sell, consideration ku 1% you deduct TDS. Consideration ku 1% you deduct TDS, provided the consideration is less than 50 lakhs. If the consideration is less than 50 lakhs, no TDS. If it is 50 lakhs and above, TDS. 50 lakhs and above, TDS. Here is where you have an amendment for the current year. Amendment comes and says, boss, 50 lakhs is not just the consideration, it is 50 lakhs consideration or SDV, whichever is higher. 50 lakhs is consideration or SDV, whichever is higher. 1% of the consideration or SDV, whichever is higher, will be deducted. Clear? 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 Yes. After I comes J. J talks about professionals. J talks about professionals. Part of your hijacker. Provisions come and say if you are rendering any of the four service, fees for professional service, fees for technical service, royalty, director fee. If you are rendering any of the four service, in that case you will come under 194J. You will come under 194J. Limit is 30,000 per payment nature. 30,000 per payment nature, meaning 30,000 for royalty separately, 30,000 for FTS separately, 30,000 for FPS separately. No limit for your director fees. No limit for your director fees. What is the rate, Rahul? Fees for professional service 10%. Fees for technical service 2%. Call center services 2%. Royalty for cinema films 2%. Any other royalty 10%. Any other royalty 10%. These are what the provisions are. What are the provisions are? 30,000 per nature of payment. If it is technical service 2%, professional service 10%, royalty for cinema films 2%, royalty for non-cinema films 10%, director fees. Rate ma 10%. 10% is the same number. 10% is the same number. Clear? Clear? Yes. After J comes K. K is where we have discussed in dividends chapter. K is when you have to go to dividends chapter. Dividends chapter will come and say you that boss, if you have any kind of mutual funds, if you get any money from a mutual funds, that will be TDS at the rate of 10%. That will be TDS at the rate of 10% from a mutual funds. While we are in mutual funds, let me clarify dividends also. Provisions come and say if you receive dividends from a company, company will deduct TDS at the rate of 10%. But here is where they give an exception. They come and say, boss, I will not deduct TDS for an individual. Provided two conditions are satisfied. Condition number 1, the dividend should not go more than 5,000 rupees. And whatever dividends I am giving to him should not be in cash. Rahul, current year, Indian company gave to the shareholders 4,000 rupees in cash. TDS amount is question repeat panuma. Indian company gave to the shareholders dividends worth 4,000 rupees in cash. TDS amount is number. Huh? Rate na 10%. 400 rupees. Why? Because even though the limit of 5,000 is below, the number is done in cash. Clear? Yes. Indian company gave to the shareholder 6,000 rupees in account pay check. TDS amount is 600. Rahul, I gave to my shareholder 3,000 rupees account pay check. 0. Clear? Yes. This is what is 194. Dividends has to be done on payment basis. K done, L over. LA is there for your exam, called as compulsory acquisition. The provisions come and say if the government is going to acquire your property compulsorily, TDS will be at the rate of 5%, no? 10, no? Worst. TDS will be at the rate of 10%, provided the threshold is 2.5 lakhs per annum. Provided the threshold is 2.5 lakhs per annum. This TDS will happen only on payment basis because the taxability will also happen in the year in which the first installment is received. After L comes M. After L comes M. M basically comes and says, if you are not covered under C or under J or under H, not covered under C, J and H, you come under M. You come under M, meaning you are who? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Individual and HF. You are an individual and an HF crossing the threshold or not crossing the threshold? Not crossing the threshold. You can cross the threshold. You can cross the threshold. What are those scenarios? Where you have made personal payments. Where you have made personal payments, even in that scenario, a threshold will be breached. 194M comes into picture in two scenarios. It comes into picture in two scenarios. Scenario number 1 is where the individual or a HF does not cross the threshold limits. Does not cross the threshold limits. Scenario number 2 is when he is making personal payments in C and J. In C and J. In that case, 194M will apply. Provisions come and say you have to deduct TDS at the rate of 5%, provided the overall money which you are going to pay to the deductor is more than 50 lakh rupees per annum. More than 50 lakh rupees per annum. Clear? Yes. Let's see this example. Let's see this example. Tell me what is the section. Tell me what is the section. Okay. First example is where you are making a contract payment of YouTube ma poitu irukku. Okay. Yes, you have a contract payment going on. The turnover is 2.5 crores. Payment is for official. TDS section is, the limit is, threshold limit is what? Threshold limit is what? 30,000 per payment or 1 lakh for the full year. TDS rate is what? 1% or 2%. Next one, FPS and FTS, turnover is 5 crores, purpose is official. Threshold limit is what? 30,000 for FPS separately, 30,000 for FTS separately. TDS rate is what? Technical is 2, professional is 10. Commission 3 crores official. 194H. Threshold limit is 15,000. TDS rate is 5%. Contract payment 12 crores personal payment. 194M. Threshold limit is 50 lakhs. TDS rate is 5%. FPS 10 crores personal. 194 by M. Personal nature. Threshold limit is 50 lakhs. TDS rate is commission 1.5 crores personal. H. (194) H. Why? I told you when it comes to C and J alone, personal is covered. H alone, personal also is covered under H only. Okay, so this will go under 194 H. Threshold limit is, TDS rate is, you are either making contract, FPS or commission. Turnover for the last year is 40 lakhs and purpose is official. 194 M. Why? Threshold limit not crossed. Threshold limit is 50 lakhs. TDS rate is 5%. Rate of TDS is 5%. Sorry. Next one, contract FPS commission. 90 lakhs is the turnover. Purpose is personal. 194 M. Why? Threshold did not cross. Threshold did not cross. Clear? Yes. This is 194 M. Next section is 194 N. Next section is 194 N. Provisions come and say if you go to your own bank, withdraw your own money. What are you doing? You are going to your own bank, withdrawing your own money. They are coming and putting TDS on that. Provisions come and say if you go to your own bank and withdraw your own money more than 1 crore rupees, whatever money you withdraw beyond 1 crore rupees will be liable for a TDS at the rate of 2%. will be liable for a TDS at the rate of 2%. But Rahul, I am a defaulter in returns. I am a defaulter in returns. Income tax comes and says, boss, if you have defaulted in filing returns for the last 3 years, defaulted in filing the returns for the last 3 years, any of the 3 years, all of the 3 years, all of the 3 years, all of the 3 years, meaning last all 3 years you did not file return on time. If you have filed return for 1 year and not filed for the last 2 years, no problem, conditions will not apply. No problem, conditions will not apply. You should have not filed return for all the last 3 years. Should have not filed the return for all the last 3 years. What they'll come and say, boss, 1 crore will become 20 lakhs. 1 crore will become 20 lakhs. You will start deducting TDS at the rate of 2% from 20 lakhs to 1 crore. After 1 crore, you will deduct TDS at the rate of 5%. Okay. What will you do? Up to 20 lakhs, you will deduct no TDS. 20 lakhs to 1 crore, you will deduct 2%. 1 crore Kamala, you will deduct 5%. But if you file your returns on time, 0 to 1 crore, no TDS, 1 crore Kamala, 2%. Clear? Yes. Look at the example. Mr. Mehta has made the following cash withdrawals during the previous year 22-23. From HDFC Bank, he withdrew 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 30 lakhs and 15 lakhs, totally 1.2 crores. From Kotak Mahindra, he withdrew 15 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 30 lakhs and 10 lakhs, totally 95 lakhs. You are required to compute the tax from Mr. Mehta, assuming he is compliant in filing his returns. On the right side, will you deduct TDS? Why? TDS here is 0. On the left side, you will deduct TDS on 12 lakhs at the rate of 2%. Number is 24,000. Clear? Yes. Case number B, they are saying Mehta has defaulted in filing the returns for 19-20, 20-21 and 21-22. All the 3 years defaulted. You will deduct TDS on Kotak Mahindra, yes or no? At what number? 75 lakhs at the rate of 2%. 1 lakh 50, yeah. 75 lakhs at the rate of 2% will give you 1 lakh 50,000. On the left side, how? Sorry, ma, konjam. 80 lakhs into 2% will give you 1.6 lakhs. Balance 12 lakhs at the rate of 5%. Number is, total will become 2.2 lakhs. Total will become 2.2 lakhs. Clear? Yes. This is your 194N. This is your 194N. Next provision is 194O. Next provision is 194O. Comes and talks about e-commerce operators. Comes and talks about e-commerce operators. Basically comes and says you are Amazon. You are Amazon selling someone else's product to someone else. Selling someone else's product to someone else. When you get the money from the customer, when you get the money from the customer and you are going to give it to your buyer, you are going to give it to your buyer. Before you give the money to your buyer, please ensure you deduct TDS at the rate of 1%. Please ensure you deduct TDS at the rate of 1%. This is how the flow chart is. This is how the flow chart is. Customer is on the left side, seller is on the left side, customer is on the right side, Nadula is Amazon. ECO, Amazon, whatever. Okay. So what happens? Customer will buy the product from Amazon and will give the payment to Amazon. Will give the payment to Amazon. When Amazon releases the payment to the seller, he will deduct TDS at the rate of 1%. No limits. No limits. He will deduct TDS on 1% from every rupee. He will deduct TDS from 1% on every rupee. Rahul, this is eBay. This is not Amazon. This is eBay. What is happening? Customer is directly making the payment to seller. Customer is directly making the payment to seller. Will TDS apply? Yes. Provisions come and say it is assumed that the money is received by Amazon, eBay. It is assumed that the money is received by eBay, which means eBay will now have to collect the TDS from customer or seller. Seller will have to collect the money from seller and deposit on behalf of the seller. Same like winnings. They will go and do what? They will go to the seller and he'll come and say, boss, I had to deduct TDS on you. You did not give me the money. So therefore, please give me the money. I will deposit on your behalf. Clear? Yes. This is the case of 194O. Provisions come and say if the payment is happening through Amazon, Amazon will deduct TDS at the rate of 1%. If TDS is not happening through Amazon but is directly happening from buyer to seller, Amazon will collect the money from the seller and deposit it to government. Deposit it to government. These provisions will not apply in case the seller is an individual. The provisions will not apply in case the seller is an individual and does not sell more than 5 lakh rupees from Amazon. 5 lakhs, है ना? These provisions will not apply in case the seller is an individual and is selling not more than 5 lakh rupees from Amazon, in which case Amazon can directly make the full amount to the individual. Can make the full amount to the individual. Clear? Not clear? This is 194O. This is 194O. Coming to the last two provisions, O, P, Q. No, last three provisions. Coming to the last three provisions, starts with P. Starts with P. Provisions come and say if you are a resident senior citizen. If you are a resident senior citizen who has completed his diamond jubilee. Diamond jubilee then platinum adu. Hey, silver, gold, diamond then. Platinum na 100 ra. Ab platinum na enna artham? Sorry, diamond enna artham? 60 vera irukka. Whatever. Provisions come and say if you are a resident senior citizen who has crossed 75 years. Who has crossed 75 years, 3/4 of your life, who has crossed 3/4 of your life and has two kinds of income. And has two kinds of income. One income is pension income, second income is interest on that pension income from bank. What do you have? You have pension income and that pension income is deposited in a bank and that bank is giving you interest. In that scenario, 194P will apply. Provisions come and say bank will deduct TDS on the full payment. Bank will deduct TDS on the full payment at your average rate, and deposit on your behalf to the government. If the bank deposits the TDS on your behalf to the government, the senior citizen does not have to file a return. The senior citizen does not have to file a return. But if the senior citizen has two banks, in that scenario, this section will not apply. Both the banks will do individual TDS under 194A. Under 194A, and the pension will be deducted by the government or the employer under 192. Under 192. Okay, so the provisions are coming and saying, boss, if you have pension and only one bank account, whatever is the bank, that bank will deduct TDS on your payments under 194P. At what rate? Average rate. If they deduct TDS at the average rate, you will not be required to file a return. You will not be required to file a return. If you have two bank accounts, in that scenario, what will happen? This section will not apply. Both the banks will do TDS under 194A for interest, and you will have to go to 192 for pension. In that scenario, return filing mandatory. Rahul, I don't have pension and interest. I have some other income also. Winnings also I have. Do you have to file a return? Yes. You will have to file a return in that scenario also. Clear? Clear? Yes, this is 194P. This is 194P. Second last provision called as 194Q. What? 194Q. Talks about purchase of goods. Provisions come and say if you go and purchase goods from someone, and the money which you are going to pay to that person is going to go more than 50 lakh rupees in the year. You will have to deduct TDS at the rate of 0.1% above 50 lakhs. You will have to deduct TDS at the rate of 0.1% above 50 lakhs. So if I go to that person and I buy goods worth 60 lakh rupees, 10 lakhs at the rate of 0.1% is what I will deduct TDS on. At the rate of 0.1, what is the number? 1000 rupees is what I will deduct TDS and go. When will this provision not apply, Rahul? The provision will not apply in case the buyer does not have a turnover more than 10 crores. In case buyer or seller. This is TDS, no? Who will collect TDS? Who will deduct TDS? Buyer or seller? Who will deduct TDS? Buyer? Sure. So then buyer's turnover. Check for buyer's turnover. Whoever is obligated to do it, you will check for him. Whoever is obligated, you check for him. Please understand, people, I am the one selling the product. Which means I am going to receive money. If I'm going to receive money, someone else is going to give me money, which means that person will do TDS, which means it will be buyer. So the provisions come and say that boss, the buyer has to deduct TDS at the rate of 0.1% on an income more than 50 lakhs, on a payment more than 50 lakh rupees. In this scenario, he will have to deduct the TDS only if his turnover goes beyond 10 crores. Turnover goes beyond 10 crores. Clear? Yes, 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 yes. Next provision is your last provision, an amendment provision for the current year called as 194R. Called as 194R, comes into hijacker. Comes into hijacker, meaning individual HUF less than the turnover will not be liable for this. Will not be liable for this. This provision comes and says that if you are going to receive any kind of business benefit or a perquisite, what are you going to receive? Any kind of business benefit or a perquisite. Before the person distributes this benefit or a perquisite, he will deduct TDS from you at the rate of 10%. He will deduct TDS from you at the rate of 10%, provided the limit goes beyond 20,000 rupees. Provided the limit goes beyond 20,000 rupees. Clear? Yes, the provision simply comes and says that if a person is going to give you any kind of benefit or a perquisite which is business in nature, he will deduct TDS at the rate of 10% before giving you the benefit. Rahul, he gave me the benefit in kind. What to do? Collect the TDS first and then give him the benefit. Collect the TDS and then give him the benefit. Clear? Yes. Here is where certain circulars are there. So let's read the circulars and understand if it is logical. Okay. TDS will not apply in the following scenarios. The benefit is provided to UN, international organization whose income is exempt from tax, embassy, high commission, legation, consulate, trade representation. Weird names exempt from TDS. Sales discount and cash discount and rebates allowed to customers. Abdina Rahul. I went to someone and I said, boss, my product, I will sell it to you for 1 lakh rupees. I will sell it to you for 1 lakh rupees, but I like your face today, so therefore I am giving you a discount of 96,000. I am giving you a discount of 96,000, which means I am going to sell it to you for 4,000 rupees. Will I go and deduct TDS at the rate of 10% on 96,000? No. Please understand, it's a discount. It's a discount. You might never know the product actually would be only 1,000 rupees. You might never know the product might only be 1,000 rupees. It's like iPhone. Manufacture under the 20,000 rupees. Vikkar the 1,50,000 rupees. Brand value on the pathi saab the same value. Okay. So the point is the discount will not be liable for a TDS. Next one. Any kind of one-time loan settlement or loan waiver by any banks, co-ops or NBFCs. Abdina Rahul. You went and took a loan from the bank. You went and told the bank, I'm sorry, I'm not making the payment to you. I'm sorry, I'm not making the payment to you. Bank also said, okay, boss, already Vijay Mallya spoiled me. You also spoiled me. Go to hell. And he waived off the loan for you. He waived off the loan for you. Did he give you a benefit? Yes. Is TDS applicable? No. Benefits perquisites provided to social media influencers for advertisements provided the products are returned to by the social media influencers. Abdina Rahul. You went to the TikTokers and you gave a product. You went to the TikTokers and you gave the product. The person is coming and saying, boss, I am using this product only. That is why my face is looking so glowing and all. Okay. If he gives the products back to the person, then in that case, TDS will not apply. If he says that he is using this for his glowing and he is actually using it for glowing, in that case, this product has been given to him as a free sample. Benefit given to him, therefore TDS applicable. TDS applicable. Clear? Rahul, he opened up the product, one scoop he took, he put it on his face and then he gave back the product. TDS applicable, not applicable. Purinjada, Puriliya, it's a fairness cream, ma. It's a fairness cream. That person on TikTok went, opened up the fairness cream, took a scoop, put it on his face and then gave back the product to the customer, to the owner itself. Will the owner deduct TDS on this? Why? Adan use pantala. Not complete use na enna artham. Hey, என்னடா ஒரு அட்வர்டைஸ்மென்ட்ல அப்படியே எடுத்துட்டு அப்படியே போட போறியா? What, you will empty the bottle that day as well. எப்படி அவன் தான் மூஞ்சி மேல போட்டால அப்புறம் என்ன? Fair enough. Fair enough. You cannot value that one scoop. You cannot value that one scoop. So therefore TDS will not apply because the product at the end of the day is returned. Product at the end of the day is returned. Hey Rahul, I went and had a Coca-Cola bottle. I drank the whole Coca-Cola, gave back the bottle. Yeah, ma. I took a Coca-Cola bottle. In front of the audience, I drank the whole Coca-Cola bottle and I went to the owner and he came and said, in the bottle, vechiko. TDS applicable, not applicable? Applicable, not applicable? Applicable. The benefit was the cola, not the bottle. It is applicable. Try பண்ணிருக்கியா நீ? TikTok ஆர்டர் இருக்கியா? அப்புறம் எப்படி தெரியும் உனக்கு? It is applicable. The only reason it will not apply is because Coca-Cola will not be more than 20,000 rupees. That is the only reason it will not apply. The only reason it will not apply is because the Coca-Cola will not be more than 20,000 rupees. Otherwise, applicable. Otherwise, applicable. If at all, it's an advertisement for a beer bottle, a big high shot wine. You know, the bottle itself cost 1,50,000 rupees. In that case, you drank the whole bottle, gave back the bottle and came and said, boss, no TDS. Definitely TDS will apply. No second thoughts about it. Okay? Okay. Next one. Expense incurred in a business dealer conference held with the objective of educating the dealer or customer of the product. What is happening? Huh? Making awareness. Basically, you have launched a new product. Let's say tomorrow Samsung Galaxy is going to come or Apple iPhone is going to come. You will see that the conference will have a lot of dealers. They will be called from all over the world. For those people, you are giving some benefits. What is the benefits? Calling them here, making them stay, giving them food and everything. Will that be a benefit? Yes. Will TDS apply on them? No. But you went and you told that person, but the product conference is only from 17th October to 21st October. 17th October to 21st October. He came and said, boss, if you want me to come for the for the conference, I will call my wife along with 2 kids also. I will call my wife and 2 kids also. From that 17th to 21st, he was staying. Wife and 2 kids were also staying. Wife and 2 kids were also staying. TDS applicable, not applicable? Applicable on whom? For the benefit which the wife and the 2 kids derive. For the benefit the wife and the 2 kids derive. Option number 2. He came and said conference is from 17th to 21st. I went and said if you want me to come, I will come on 12th itself. I will come on 12th itself. I will leave on 30th only. I will leave on 30th only. Will TDS apply? Yes. For 12 to 16 and 22 to 30th, TDS will apply. 17 to 21, TDS will not apply. Clear? This is a lot logical, you don't have to explain anything. Benefit perquisite provided to individual participant in a group activity. அப்படினா என்ன அர்த்தம்? Huh? You went to a sports team, you went and you gave a free energy drink. You went and you gave a free energy drink. Before giving the free energy drink, will you go to that Virat Kohli and come and say, first நீ TDS கொடு அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் energy drink கொடுக்க முடியும்? Allowed, not allowed? They came and said, boss, in that scenario, disallow the whole expense. Disallow the whole expense and then no TDS for you. Disallow the whole expense and no TDS for you. Next one. Expense incurred by pure agent as reimbursed by the recipient. அப்படினா என்ன அர்த்தம்? Expense incurred by pure agent and no TDS. No. Please understand two scenarios. Let's say for example, I come to you and I come and say, boss, I am asking you to go to the income tax department and pay 1 lakh rupees for me as a tax. Pay 1 lakh rupees as tax for me. You will recover this 1 lakh rupees from me? Yes or no? Which means you have acted as a pure agent on my behalf. You went, you paid this 1 lakh rupees and collected 1 lakh rupees back from me. Is there any benefit for you in this? Will I deduct TDS on this? No. But for you to go to income tax office, you came and said, I will take an Ola and only go. I will take an only Ola and go. And Ola should also be AC Ola. So on that bill was let's say 1,000 rupees from here to income tax office, 1,000 rupees. You recovered from me 1,01,000 rupees. You recovered from me 1,01,000 rupees. 1 lakh was for my benefit. 1 lakh was for my benefit. So therefore on this no TDS. 1,000 rupees TDS applicable, not applicable? Applicable. Applicable. Please understand people, in GST they would have come and clarified pure agency does not apply on services which are not used for your benefit. In this AC Ola, who used the benefit? You use the benefit. So therefore that is not a pure agency. On that TDS will apply. On that TDS will apply. Clear? Yes, that is what the provisions are clarifying. Bonus shares, right shares given to all shareholders of a company in which public are substantially interested. Bonus shares given to the shareholders will not be liable for 194R because it is under capital gains. It is under capital gains, it's not under business. It is not under business. Then they are saying, how do you value the benefits? If you don't know the value, take FMV. If you only manufacture the product, take cost. Last provision they're coming and saying that boss, this 194R is only applying from 1st July 2022. 1st July 2022. Meaning any kind of benefits you give from April to June, on that TDS will not apply. On that TDS will not apply. For example, I came to you and I came and said, boss, I'm giving you a Goa ticket. I'm giving you a Goa ticket. Cost of that Goa ticket is 16,000 rupees. Cost of the Goa ticket, 16,000 rupees. I gave it to you in May. I gave it to you in May. TDS applied, not applied? Not applied. I gave you another Switzerland ticket. How nice I am, no? I gave you another Switzerland ticket. The amount is 18,000 rupees. I gave it in August. I gave it in August. TDS applicable, not applicable? Applicable. Applicable. Please understand people, the TDS will not apply from 1st July. But for the purpose of checking your threshold limit, you will check from 1st April. For the purpose of checking your threshold, you will check from 1st April because 20,000 is per annum. 20,000 is per annum. In this case, you will be applicable for TDS on what amount? 18,000 at full la? 18,000. 18,000. 20,000 is only for the purpose of you checking for threshold. Only for the purpose of you checking your threshold. After you have reached your threshold and you're liable for TDS, only deduct TDS after 1st July. Only deduct TDS after 1st July. Clear, not clear? Clear? Yes. This is a one-time provision which means likely to come for this exam. Likely to come for this exam because next year again it will become from 1st April. This is the only time this is there. So therefore please be careful on this. TDS will apply only from 1st July, but for threshold limit you will check from 1st April. You will check from 1st April. Clear? Yes. This marks the end of your TDS. This marks the end of your TDS. You have some administrative provisions. First administrative provisions come and clarify when to deposit the TDS. When to deposit the TDS. Provisions are coming and saying that boss, if you have deducted the TDS, please deposit by 7th of next month. Please deposit by 7th of next month, except for March. Except for March. March you can deposit by 30th of next month, meaning 30 April. So any kind of TDS you deducted, deposit by 7th of next month. But if you're deducting for the month of March, you deposit by 30th April. Rahul, I did not deduct itself. What will you do? I did not deduct itself. What will you do? You will disallow. You will disallow. But TDS comes and says, I will also levy something called as interest. I will also levy something called as interest. Provisions come and say, if you failed to deduct TDS, if you failed to deduct TDS, I will levy interest at the rate of 1% per month or part thereof. 1% per month or part thereof from the date on which you were supposed to deduct TDS. From date on which you are supposed to deduct TDS till the date on which you actually deduct TDS. Till the date on which you actually deduct TDS. So it says you will levy interest at the rate of 1% per month or part thereof from the date on which you were supposed to deduct TDS till the date on which you actually deduct TDS. Rahul, I deducted TDS. I deducted TDS. I should pay it by 7th of next month or 30th April. I did not pay. I did not pay. Income tax says you will be levied interest at the rate of 1.5% per month. 1.5% per month from the due date of depositing TDS till the date on which you deposit the TDS. From the due date on which you were supposed to deposit TDS till the date on which you deposited TDS. Clear? Yes. Question. I have made a payment of 60,000 rupees under 194J. I have made a payment of 60,000 rupees under 194J in the month of April 22. In the month of April 22. On this payment, I forgot to do TDS. On this payment, I forgot to do TDS. Suddenly, I realized in the month of August. And I deducted the 6,000 rupees. I deducted the 6,000 rupees. I deposited it in November 22. I deposited in November 22. Calculate the interest. How do you calculate, people? First time you forgot to deduct. How much did you forget to deduct? 6,000. So you will levy interest at the rate of 1% on 6,000 into how many months? April, May, June, July, August. Did you deduct in August? Yes. So therefore for 5 months. Number is 300. Now you deducted in August, meaning you should have paid it by 7th September. Did you pay it on 7th September? No. So therefore you will be levied 6,000 into 1.5% into September, October, November, 3 months to total interest. Total interest 570. Clear? Clear? Any doubts? No? This is how your TDS will work. This is how the interest on TDS will work. You will levy at the rate of 1% from the date of deduction till the date on which you deducted, and 1.5% from the due date of deposit till the date on which you deposited. Yes? Yes. This marks the end of your TDS. You have one small thing called as TCS. Meaning tax collected at source. What happens in TDS and TCS? In TDS, you are the buyer. And there is a seller. Buyer is going to buy the goods, correct? Buyer is going to buy the goods. Seller is going to receive the payment. In this case, who will deduct TDS? TDS, not TCS. Who will deduct TDS? Buyer will deduct TDS before making the payment, correct? So what will buyer do? Buyer on this payment will deduct TDS and make the payment. Let's say for example the payment is 100 rupees. Buyer will deduct 10 rupees, make a payment of 90 rupees. Any doubts? No? TCS is the ulta scenario. Where buyer is going to buy the product, seller is going to receive the payment. When seller is receiving the payment, he'll come and say, boss, don't pay me 100. Pay me 110. Now buyer will pay 110 rupees. What will the seller do? He will keep 100 with himself and deposit 10 to government for the buyer. For the buyer, this 10 rupees expense or income? Nothing, it's TCS. It's going to come back to you tomorrow. Yes or no? For the buyer, the 100 rupees is an expense or income? Expense. So please understand, in cases of TDS, the TDS happens on the income. In cases of TCS happens on the expense. In cases of TDS, the credit goes to seller. In case of TDS, the credit goes to buyer. Purinjada. Yes. In case of TDS, it is for income. In case of TCS, it is for expense. In case of TDS, the credit goes to buyer. In case the TDS, the credit goes to seller. And in case of TCS, the credit goes to buyer. buyer. You default making a TDS payment, expense becomes disallowed. You default collecting TCS, nothing happens. You default collecting TCS, nothing happens because for you it is an income. You had to collect 100, you collected 100. Unike 10 rupees collect pannalena unike enna prachane onnu illa. Okay, so nothing will happen for you. They will not do anything for you. They will not do anything for you except for levying interest. Except for levying interest. But yes, if you are TDS, you are mandated to do TDS. You did not do TDS, your expense will get disallowed. Clear? Clear? This is what is TCS. This is what is TCS. Any doubts? No doubts? No doubts? Yes. In case of TCS, now seller is going to collect the money, which means seller should obtain the PAN number. Seller should obtain the PAN number. Income tax comes and says if the seller forgot to give the PAN number to you, TCS will happen at twice the rate or 5%, whichever is higher. Twice the rate or 5%, whichever is higher. In case the buyer forgot to file the return, in case the buyer forgot to file the return, TCS again will be twice the rate or 5%, whichever is 5% or 1%. Twice the rate or 5%, whichever is higher. So, in case of TCS, whether you don't give PAN number or you don't give return, both the scenarios it is twice the rate or 5%, whichever is higher. But in case of TDS, it is twice the rate or 5% for return and actual rate or 20%, whichever is higher for PAN numbers. Clear? Yes. Please remember the rates. As such, TCS is not relevant for exam. As such, TCS is not relevant for exam. In your syllabus itself, they have come and clarified TCS is more of an academic view for you. TCS is more of an academic view for you, not relevant for exam. Some questions here and there have been tested in the past. That is what I will discuss with you. Okay. So, what are the rates in TCS? They have come and say, boss, any kind of hazardous products, any kind of hazardous products is covered under TCS. What is the first product? Alcoholic liquor for home consumption. Alcoholic liquor for home consumption. Wherever, whoever is selling alcoholic liquor will have to collect 1%. Will have to collect 1%. If you are selling tendu leaves, what is tendu leaves? Items which are used for making cigarettes. Items which are used for making cigarettes, you will collect 5%. If you are selling any kind of timber and forest produce, any kind of timber and forest produce, you will collect 2.5%. If you are collecting any scrap, 1%. If you are collecting any kind of coal, 1%. Okay. So, if you have any of these products, if you sell any of these products, you will collect TCS at the rate of 1% for alcohol, 1% for scrap, 1% for coal, 5% for tendu leaves, 2.5% for timber, 2.5% for timber. Yes. Next they are coming and saying, if you have a toll parking, what do you have? If you have a toll parking under your name and you give this toll parking to someone else, you give this toll parking to someone else, when the person makes a payment, he will have to make an additional payment of 2% to you. He will have to make an additional payment of 2% to you. If you give someone your toll park, if you give someone your toll park. And the last and the most useless provision, they come and say, if you sell someone motor vehicle, what do you sell? Motor vehicle. If you are selling someone motor vehicle and the motor vehicle is treated luxury, and the motor vehicle is treated luxury, then on that also the person has to pay you 1% as TCS. The person has to pay you 1% as TCS. What is luxury for income tax? 10 lakhs. What is luxury for income tax? 10 lakhs. If the motor vehicle goes beyond 10 lakh rupees, the value of the motor vehicle you will have to pay 1%. Value of the motor vehicle you will have to pay 1%. Clear? Not clear? Clear? Rahul, question to you. I have bought a BMW right now worth 50 lakh rupees. I have bought a BMW worth 50 lakh rupees. Amma. Valid point. Valid point. So one of our friends for YouTube, one of our friends are asking, home consumption meaning வீட்டுக்கு போயிட்டு சாப்பிட்டாதான் home consumption இல்ல அங்க போய் குடிச்சாலே home consumption. What do you think? Home consumption means personal purpose. Home consumption means personal purpose. If you are going to consume it for personal purpose, it is called as home consumption, which means you stand there and drink it, you go, you break it on someone's head also, I don't mind. Okay, you go and break it on someone's head also, 1% will apply on you. Okay, as long as you take it for your personal purpose. As long as you take it for personal purpose. Clear? இது முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் done. Anyway, we are done with this. After this, we only have to discuss questions. That's all. Okay. Yes. Yeah, motor vehicles. So the provisions come and say if you have a motor vehicle and the purchase of the motor vehicle is more than 10 lakh rupees, you will collect TCS. You will collect TCS at the rate of 1%. Question to you, what has happened is I have had a motor vehicle. I have purchased a motor vehicle BMW for 50 lakh rupees. Whether 194Q will apply or this 206C will apply. Whether 194Q will apply or 206C will apply, 206C will apply. 206C will apply. Provisions come and say that boss 194Q, which is talking about purchase of goods, will not apply in case any other section is applicable. Will not apply in case any other section is applicable. Here any other section is already applicable, therefore that will not apply. Therefore that will not apply. Rahul, what I did is I went and I purchased 6 motor vehicles. Listen. I went and I purchased 6 motor vehicles. All motor vehicles are 8 lakh rupees each. All motor vehicles are 8 lakh rupees each. Did 206C apply? Because per vehicle less than 10 lakhs. In that case, can 194Q apply? No. Multiply. Will 194Q apply? No. Why? Because 8 lakhs into 6 will give you 48 lakhs. It is less than 50 lakhs. Therefore, it will not apply. Let's change the question. Make it 8. Now 194Q will apply on 14 lakhs at the rate of 0.1%. 0.1%. So please understand 194Q does not apply if any other section is applicable. If any other section is not applicable as well, 194Q will apply. Clear? Yes. Questions like this is what will come in exam. So be careful about it. Per vehicle should go beyond 10 lakh rupees. TCS will apply. Per vehicle does not go beyond 10 lakh rupees. 194Q will apply provided it goes beyond 50 lakhs. Any doubts? No. Last leg of this provision, they are coming and saying that boss, TCS will not apply in case the buyer is a public sector company, government, local authority, embassy, high commission, legation, trade representation, etc. etc. There and all we learned about seller, now we are learning about buyer. Next they are coming and saying if the seller, who is he? Seller. If the seller is having a turnover of less than 1 crore or profession of less than 50 lakhs. There we said hijacker case. There we look for buyer. Now we are looking for seller. If the seller is having a turnover less than 1 crore or 50 lakh rupees, then also TCS will not apply. Then they are coming and saying if the buyer furnishes a declaration to the seller saying that the goods are going to be used for further processing, what is going to happen? Whatever products you purchase, that is going to be used for further processing. In that case, TCS will not apply. Meaning you should be the final consumer. If the buyer is the final consumer, seller will collect TCS. If the buyer is the final consumer, seller will collect TCS. If not, it will not collect TCS. Rahul, alcoholic liquor for home consumption can be used for further processing? No. Vartale irukku home consumption, which means that cannot be for further processing. What are the items for further processing? Timber, scrap, coal. All these items you are using for further processing, no TCS on it. Balance items will be liable for TCS. Clear? Last item they are coming and saying, boss, when it comes to your motor vehicles beyond 10 lakh rupees, TCS will apply in case of a motor vehicle only at retail level. Will not apply at dealer distribution. Meaning the final consumer should be the one. You should be the final consumer. If it is a dealer, what will happen? 194Q will apply. Next one. Threshold limit of 10 lakhs has to be looked at individual purchases. And not for all products together. Last item they are coming and saying TCS will apply whether you make the payment in cash, kind, anything. As long as you collect a motor vehicle from me more than 10 lakh rupees, I will collect TCS. Any doubts? No. Next provision comes and says, boss, if you are going to make any kind of foreign payments, what are you going to do? Make any kind of foreign payments. They have put a restriction on it. They have come and said, boss, if you are going to make a foreign payment more than 7 lakh rupees, what are you going to do? More than 7 lakh rupees. Whatever payment you make more than 7 lakh rupees will be liable for a TCS at the rate of 5%. Meaning, let's say for example, I want to go for a education loan. Foreign education. I have a loan of 8 lakh rupees. I have a loan of 8 lakh rupees. So I go to my authorized dealer and I come and say, boss, this is 8 lakh rupees. Send it to my Harvard University. Send it to my Harvard University. He will come and say, boss, hold. For 7 lakh rupees, I will not collect TCS. For the balance 1 lakh rupees, give me additional TCS. Give me additional TCS. Only if I give him that additional TCS, will he let the 1 lakh rupees go outside. Elena, he'll come and say, boss, I'll collect the 5% from that 1 lakh itself. I'll collect the 5% from that 1 lakh itself, and the balance alone is what I will deposit. Balance alone is what I would deposit. What are the rates? They're coming and saying it is 5%. They're coming and saying it is 5%, but an exception given to you. They're coming and saying if you've taken it for education, you've taken it for education, rate is 0.5. Rate is 0.5. Okay, so they're coming and saying if you're sending this money outside India, tell me what is the purpose. Tell me what is the purpose. If the purpose is for you to send for education, it is 0.5. If it is for any purpose other than education, it is 5. But no, hold. If you go and say, boss, I'm sending this money outside for travel. For what? Travel. You're going for an overseas travel. You're going for an overseas travel. No limits for you. No limits for you. From rupee 1, I will collect 5%. From rupee 1, I will collect 5%. Whether you directly do it from a travel agent or you do it from an AD banker. Whether you do it from a travel agent or an AD banker, tomorrow if you plan to go for an honeymoon foreign, please pay 5%, 5% TCS. Please pay 5% TCS extra to him. Then only you can go for a foreign trip. Then you can go for a foreign trip. Not even 1 rupee is exempt. Not even 1 rupee is exempt. Every rupee you have to pay TCS. That money will be given, deposited in your credit, and you can claim it as an credit. You can claim it as an credit. Yes. So the provisions come and say, if you are sending your money outside India, tell me what is the purpose. If you tell the purpose is for education loan, I will come and say you can collect TCS at the rate of 0.5% above 7 lakhs. If you say no, it is not for education loan, but Summa I am sending it out, then it is 5% above 7 lakh rupees. If you say no, I am sending this money outside for a overseas travel, they will say 0 threshold limit. Everything will be liable for 5%. Clear? Sorry. Everything will be liable for a 5% TCS. And the last provision for TCS is a copy paste of your 194Q. The last provision is a copy paste of your 194Q. Comes and says, boss, if you're comes and says that if you're going to sell products to someone, their buyer was deducting TDS. Here they're coming and saying seller will collect TCS. Seller will collect TCS at the rate of 0.1% above 50 lakhs. At the rate of 0.1% above 50 lakhs, provided seller's turnover is more than 10 crores. Seller's turnover is more than 10 crores. Their buyer's turnover is more than 10 crores. Here seller's turnover is more than 10 crores. Rahul, both the buyer turnover is also more than 10 crores. Seller turnover is also more than 10 crores. Should you do 194Q or TCS? 194Q. TDS is more superior than TCS. TDS is more superior than TCS. Provisions come and say, boss, 194Q will not apply when any TCS applies, except for this section. What? TDS will not apply if any section is applicable, including TDS sections, except for this section. Appadina enna artham, Rahul? If both TDS and TCS is applicable, you will do TDS. You will do TDS, not do TCS. Rahul, what is the scenario when TCS will apply then? What is the scenario when TCS will apply then? What is the scenario when TCS can apply? Simple, when the buyer's turnover is less than 10 crores, but the seller turnover is more than 10 crores. In that case, only TCS will apply. Puriliya, let's do an example. See this question. See the question. Okay. You have both buyer and seller. You need to tell me which section is applicable. Seller's turnover is given as 8 crores. Buyer's turnover is given as 6 crores. Will 194Q apply? Huh? Will 194Q apply? For 194Q, we will check for whose turnover? Buyer's turnover. Buyer's turnover should be more than. Will 194Q apply? No. Will TCS apply? Yes or no? No, nothing will apply. Both turnovers are less than 10 crores. Got the format? Yes, let's understand next one. Seller's turnover is more than 11 crores. Buyer's turnover is less than 10 crores. You will apply TCS. Seller's turnover is 11 crores. Buyer's turnover is 6 crores. Same. Seller's turnover is 8 crores. Buyer's turnover is 12 crores. Seller's turnover is 8 crores. Buyer's turnover is 12 crores. Seller turnover is 11 crores. Buyer turnover is 12 crores. TDS. Last one. TDS. Rahul, what is this extra TDS coming in? There are some special provisions for PAN numbers. If you recall, I told you, if the buyer does not get the PAN number from the seller, he has to do actual rate of 20%, whichever is higher. Here they have come and said if it is 194Q, rate itself was 0.1. Rate itself was 0.1. 0.1 length direct at 20% jump on a period worth. So they came and said make it to 5. Make it to 5. Which means if the buyer does not get the PAN number from the seller, TDS will be at the rate of 5%. When you go to TCS, they came and said if the collector does not get the PAN number, TCS will be at 1%. Keeping that logic, now tell me the rates. First scenario, TDS, TCS both are not applicable, so ignore. Next scenario, what is happening? TCS is applying, which means seller has to collect from buyer. Seller has given the PAN number, not given the PAN number. I'm sorry, buyer. Buyer. Buyer has given the PAN number, not given the PAN number. So TCS rate will be 0.1. Got the idea? Yes, next one. Seller has not given the, buyer has not given the PAN number. 1%. Next scenario, you are in TDS, which means you are looking from buyer perspective. So buyer has to collect PAN number from seller. Seller given PAN, not given PAN. Given PAN, TDS rate is. Seller not given PAN. Next scenario, 0.15. Clear? Any doubts? No doubts? With this we are done with TDS and TCS both. We will take a break. It's 5:30. Huh? It's 5:30. Come back at. Saabdu poriya. 6. 1 hour. See, I was thinking if you come back earlier, we'll complete the questions and leave early. You tell me what you want. For me, for doing what? That's all. There's only questions to do. Let's see what questions are there. You can see question number 1 has about 39 questions. Question number 2, question number 3, 4, 5, 6. 5:45. Let's come back in 15 minutes. Question number 1. You're required to examine the TDS implications in the following cases. On 1st October 2022, Mr. Harish, age 45 years, made a 6 months FD of 10 lakh rupees at 9% per annum with ABC Cooperative Bank. The fixed deposit matured on 31st March 2023. So what is happening? You have Mr. Harish who has taken a 6 months FD from a bank. Okay, that bank is giving you what? You have interest of 9%, which means you are in TDS or TCS. You are in TDS 194A. You are in 194A. In 194A, they are coming and saying you have taken a 10 lakhs worth of FD, 6 months FD, 9% is the interest. Can someone tell me what is the interest which will come? Please understand your costing, people. It is 10 lakhs worth of FD, 6 months FD, which means it is 45,000. Now 45,000 is the FD. Harish is 45 years. Will TDS apply, not apply? TDS apply, not apply? It will apply because for non-resident it is 40,000 limit. Non-resident is 40,000 limit. TDS will be at the rate of 10%. Therefore, TDS is 4,500. From exam perspective, if you want to attempt TDS, you have 3 rules. Rule number 1, write the provision. Rule number 2, write the analysis. Rule number 3, mention what is the TDS. Rule number 3, mention what is the TDS. So you need to say, as per section 194A, for an individual who has made an FD with the bank, TDS will be at the rate of 10% provided the number is more than 40,000 rupees. In this case, the interest will be coming to 45,000, which is exceeding the threshold limit, and therefore TDS under 194A will apply. TDS amount to be deducted is 45,000 into 10%, 4,500. This is the mark. Clear? Yes. Next one. On 1st June 2022, Ganesh, age 35 years, made 3 9 months fixed deposits of 3 lakhs each. He has made 3 9 months FDs. 3 9 months FDs carrying 9% interest with Dwarka branch, Janakpuri branch, Rohini branch. Made with Dwarka, Janakpuri and Rohini branch, bank which has adopted CBS. Should you merge? Not merge. Merge. Merge together 3 lakhs each deposit. Total deposit is 9 lakh rupees. 9 lakh rupees into, what is the interest rate? 9% interest, how many months? It's clearly given, it is 9 months, therefore it is 9 by 12. Number is 60,750. 60,750 together cumulatively is more than 40,000 rupees. Therefore TDS will apply. TDS rate is, so 6750 into 10% will give you 60. You got the format? Next one. On 1st October 2022, Mr. Rajesh, age 40 years, started a 6 months recurring deposit of 2 lakhs per month at 8% per annum with PQR Bank. Recurring deposit matures on 31st March. He has made what? Recurring deposit. Every month he is going to deposit 2 lakh rupees. So 2 lakhs for the first month will be into 8% into 6 by 12. Next will be 5 by 12. Next will be 4 by 12. Then it will be 3 by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 2 by 12. And then 1 by 12. Correct? Yes, sir. What can you do in this? Collate everything. So 2 lakhs into 8% will be on the outside. Into 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. The whole thing by 12. Number? 28,000. So 28,000 is the interest amount. Will you be liable for TDS? Quickly, yes or no? Will you be liable for TDS? No, why? Less than 40,000, therefore TDS is 0, therefore it is 0. Done? Next one. ABC Limited makes the following payments to Mr. X, a contractor. Contractor, Abdina. 194C. He has made a contract work during 22-23. The following are the payments given. 20,000 on May, 25,000 on August, 28,000 on December. Each payment is less than 30,000. Total payment is less than 1 lakh. TDS applicable, not applicable? Read the question. On 1st March 23, a payment of 30,000 is due to Mr. X on account of contract work. Will you add this or not add this? Will you add this, not add this? Why? It is TDS on the date of credit in books or payment, whichever is earlier. Add the 3. 20 plus 25 is 45 plus 28 is 1 lakh? 3,000. Total payment has gone beyond 1 lakh rupees. Therefore, TDS applicable, not applicable? Amount is 1 lakh 3,000 into. How did you decide 1%? Contract has 2 rates. 1% or 2%? How did you decide? Who's making the payment? ABC is making. Who's receiving the payment? Will you look at the receiver or the payer? Receiver. (194C) says check the deductee. Check the deductee. Deductee should be an individual. Deductee should be an individual. In this case, Mr. X is the contractor who is an individual. Therefore, it is 1%. Yes or no? Next one. Moon TV television channel made payment of 50,000 to a production house for production of a program for telecasting as per specifications given by the channel. The copyright of the program is also transferred to Moon TV. Basically, advertisement, you have given Specifications. TDS applicable, not applicable? A specification kurta applicable or not applicable? Applicable. Examine whether the implications if the payment was made by Moon TV for acquiring telecasting content already produced. Not applicable. I told you, no, if it is something which is off the shelf, it is not applicable. Something which you are making them work on, it is 194C. Next one. Mr. X is due to receive 4.5 lakhs on 31st March 2023 towards maturity of life insurance policy, which was taken on 1/4/2020 for the sum assured of 4 lakh rupees. Premium paid is 1,25,000. When did you take the policy? 2020. Premium you can maximum pay is 10%. Sum assured is 4 lakhs into 10% will give you. You paid premium of taxable exempt. Taxable or exempt? Taxable. Did you receive more than 1 lakh rupees in the current year? Yes, you receive 4.5 lakh rupees, which means TDS will apply at the rate of 5% on income. 5% on income. What is the number? How much premium have you paid? Every year you paid 1,25,000 starting from 2020. So 2020, 21, 22, 23. 4 years. Yes or no? 4 years or 3 years? 3 years. It was matured on 31st March 23, which means it is for 3 years. 1,25,000 into 3 years is 3,75,000. How much did you receive in hand? You received 4.5, you have paid 3.75. Income is 75 at the rate of, number is, hey, clear, not clear? Clear? Next one. Y is a resident due to receive 3.25 lakhs on 31st March. LIC policy taken on 31st March 2012. Sum assured is 3 lakhs. Annual premium is 30,100 rupees. When have you taken the policy? 2012. Maximum premium you can pay 20%. 3 lakh into 20% will become 60,000. You paid premium of 30,100. Taxable exempt. TDS applicable, not applicable? Clear? Z, resident due to receive 95,000 towards maturity of LIC policy taken on 2016. Sum assured is 90,000. Premium paid 10,000. Sum assured is 90,000. You can make a premium of 10%, which means 9,000. You paid premium of taxable exempt. Taxable. How much did you receive? Receive more than 1 lakh, less than 1 lakh. TDS applicable, not applicable? Clear? Mr. X, salaried individual, pays a rent of 55,000 per month to Mr. Y from June 2022. Are you liable for TDS? You are in 194 IB. Why? Because you are a salaried individual, which means your business turnover is not there, which means 194 I will not apply. If 194 I not apply, you will go to 194 IB. In 194 IB, the limit is 50,000 per month. This is 55,000 per month. TDS applicable, not applicable? Applicable. What is the number? 55,000 into 5% into how many months, people? 10 months. Why? April, May, ignore pana, 10 months. June, number is 27,500. You will deduct this 27,500 when? Every month, last month, 31st March. You will deduct on 31st March. Next question. Would your answer change if Mr. X vacated the property on 31st December? Would your answer change? Yes. Why? Rent will fall 55,000 into 5% into June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, December, 7 months. Number is 19. This will be deducted when? December. What would be your answer if Mr. Y does not provide his PAN number to Mr. X? You will deduct at 20%. 55,000 into 20% into 10 will give you 1 lakh. Do you have 1,10,000 to give in month of March? In March, how much is the rent? 55. How much they are asking to deduct TDS? 1,10,000. Can you deduct 1,10,000? Which means you will deduct only 55 fully. You deduct 55 fully. Option number 2, if you vacated on December, it is 55,000 into 20% into 7. 55,000 into 20% into 7, number is 77,000. You have only paid rent of 55. They are asking you to deduct. You will deduct. That's all is the answer. So in both the options, you will deduct TDS of 55,000 and leave it there. You leave it there. Done. Next one. Mr. X sold his house in Bangalore as well as his rural agriculture land for consideration of 60 lakhs and 15 lakhs. He has purchased the house and the land in the year 2021 for 40 lakhs and 10 lakhs. The stamp duty value of the properties are given as 85 lakhs and 20 lakhs. You are required to check whether TDS is applicable or not. Hey, 2 properties for you. One property is house, second property is rural agriculture. Applicable or not applicable? Applicable, not applicable? Not applicable. Rural agriculture land are exempt from taxes, therefore ignore the whole rural. Ignore the whole rural. Come to the normal. Come to the normal. What is happening? You have sold the property for 60 lakhs, purchased it for 15 lakhs. Sorry, 40 lakhs. Purchased it for 40 lakhs. Do you care about 40 lakhs? No, why? You care about the stamp duty value. Stamp duty value is 85 lakhs. Is it more than 50 lakhs? Yes. Therefore, you will deduct TDS at the rate of 1% on 85 or 60? 85. This is the amendment for the current year. 1% of stamp duty value or actual consideration, whichever is higher. Therefore, 1% of 85. Number is 85,000. Clear? Yes, it is 1% of stamp duty value or actual consideration, whichever is higher. Therefore, you will do it on 85. Done. Next one. Payment of 2 lakhs to Mr. R, transporter, who owns 8 goods carriages throughout the year and furnishes a declaration to this effect to with this PAN number. TDS applicable, not applicable? Not applicable. Payment of fees for technical services of 25,000 and royalty of 20,000 to Mr. Sham having a PAN. Applicable, not applicable? Why? 30,000 per limit. 30,000 per limit, TDS not applicable. Payment of 25,000 to Mr. X for repair of building. Where are we? Repair of building. 194. C. Applicable, not applicable? Not applicable. Payment of 2 lakhs made to A for purchase of diaries made according to the specifications of Mr. S. However, no material was supplied for such diaries to Mr. A by Mr. S or his associates. Hey, job work, not job work? Not a job work. You look at section number 194. Q. This is a sale of product. This is a sale of product. 194. Q. Limit is 50 lakhs. This number is 2 lakhs. TDS applicable, not applicable? Payment made 1,80,000 to Mr. Bharat for compulsory acquisition of his house as per the law of the state government. Compulsory acquisition 194 LA talks about a threshold limit of 2,50,000. 1,80,000 not applicable. Done. Next one. Payment of commission of 14,000 to Mr. Y. Why? 15,000 threshold. Rent paid for hire of machinery to Mr. B to Mr. Oh, by B Limited to Mr. Raman 2,60,000. 194. I. Number is 2 or 10? 2 Y. Machinery. And the limit is more than 2,40,000. 2,16 to 2%. 52,000. Sorry, 5,200. Next one. Fees paid fees paid on 1st December to Mr. Dr. Srivatsan by Sundar HUF. 35,000 for surgery performed on members of the family. 194. Not applicable. Personal payment. Surgery done on the member of the family, personal payment. Therefore, TDS will not apply. You will go to 194M. 194M limit is 50 lakhs. ABC & Co. Limited paid 19,000 to one of its director as sitting fees. Applicable, not applicable? Applicable, not applicable? Applicable. 10%. Director has no limit, rate is 10%. Payment of 25,000 made to Jack Callis, a South African cricketer, by Indian Newspaper Agency on 2nd July 21 for contribution of articles in relation to sports of Cricket. 20 point. Very good. Number is 27,000. 20.8% will apply. 5616. 2 lakhs paid to Mr. A, resident individual, on 22nd February 2023 by state of Uttar Pradesh on compulsory acquisition of his urban land. Why? Limit not crossed. Mr. Dhanpal wishes to purchase residential house costing 60 lakhs from Sai Priya. House is situated at Chennai. He also wants to purchase a rural agriculture land in rural area for 65 lakhs. Both the buyer and seller are residents in India. 194 I A 194 I A rural agriculture land exempt from tax. Houses 60 lakhs, 60 lakhs. House is 65 lakhs, house is 60 lakhs, land is 65 lakhs. Ignore land, go to house. 60 lakhs at the rate of 1%. Number is 60,000 now. Number is 60,000. If you notice, this question and that question was the same. They play around like that only. They don't have any new questions to ask. They'll keep asking the same question for you. Okay. Next one. Rahul and Co. partnership firm having a car dealership showroom purchased cars for 2 crores from XYZ Limited. A car manufacturer, the cost of each car being more than 2 lakhs. Who are you? You are in dealer. You are in dealer purchasing cars more than 12 lakhs. TCS applicable, not applicable? Not applicable. Why? Dealer. It's a dealer. But what will apply? Nano confident seri. What will apply? TDS will apply. 194Q will apply at the rate of 0.1%. 2 crores into 0.1 is. You tell me, 20,000 under section 194Q. They sell the cars to individual buyers at a price yielding 10% margin on cost. The cost is 12 lakhs per car. They are adding 10% margin on it, which means the cost of the car is now 13 lakh 20,000. Every seller will get the car at 13 lakh 20,000. Will you apply TCS or TDS? TCS. Every car has gone more than 13 lakh 20 and it's an individual sale. Individual sale. Therefore, 13.2 lakhs at the rate of 1%. Number is 13,200 will be the TCS collected by the dealer. Will be collected by the dealer from the customer. Mundra Limited advertising company retained a sum of 15 lakhs towards charges for procuring and canvassing advertisement from the payment of 1 crore due to Cloud TV, a television channel, and remitted the balance amount of 85 lakhs to the television channel. Would the provisions of TDS under 194H will apply on the 15 lakh rupees? Basically, it's an advertisement agency. What they've done some advertisements for you. The amount totally was 1 crore rupees which they received. In that they said 15 lakhs is my charges. 15 lakhs is my charges. Balance 85 lakhs, they gave it back to you. Balance 85 lakhs, they gave it back to you. They're asking whether the 15 lakhs is a commission under 194H. Yes or no? No. Please understand, TV agency and the advertisement agency are principal. They are principal. There is no agency relationship here. There is no agency relationship here. With no agency relationship, 194H will not apply. Nothing of them will apply. How will IR apply? How is it a benefit? Neither retain pannitiya kaasu. These 15 lakhs is nothing but your charges. This is nothing but your advertisement charges. Will not be liable for 194H. That's all. Radha Limited engaged by Sham Limited. Radha Limited engaged by Sham Limited only in the business of operation of call center. On 18th March, total amount credited by Sham Limited in the ledger of Radha Limited is 70,000 rupees. How much? 70,000 rupees regarding the service charges for call center. Amount is paid through check by Sham Limited. 194 TDS rate. Confident, that's all. 2%. 70,000 into 2% number is 1,400. An employee of central government receives arrears of salary for the last 3 years. He inquires whether the amount will be received after deduction of tax at source. Yes or no? Yes. Hey, salary. A TV channel pays 10 lakhs as prize money to the winner of quiz program. Winnings 10 lakhs into 30%, 3 lakhs. A nationalized bank pays 50,000 per month as rent to central government for building in which one of its branches is situated. No TDS. Why? Very good. A television channel pays 50,000 to cameraman for shooting of documentary films. 194. J. 10%. You are paying for his services of camera. I am not talking about shooting of cinematographic films. Shooting of cinematographic films is 2%. This is you shooting the film. Mr. Tandon received 1,75,000 as premature withdrawal from Employee Provident Fund before continuous service of 5 years on account of termination of ill health. No TDS. Why? Exempt from tax. Finance Bank Limited sanctioned and disbursed a loan of 10 crores to Borrower Limited on 31st March. Borrower Limited paid 1 lakh as service fees to Finance Bank for processing loan application. Nothing. ஏய் உனக்கு புரிஞ்சுதா உனக்கு என்ன சொன்னா எனக்கே புரியல next insurance company paid 45,000 as insurance commission wherever you see commission 5% TDS number 2250 Gupta and Co firm engaged in wholesale business assigned a contract for construction of its godown building to Mr. Ravi. The payment and aggregate of 10 lakhs to Mr. Ravi during the year. 194. C number is rate ra. Why 1%? Who is the person? Ravi. Ravi is an individual, therefore 1%. 10 lakhs into 1% will give you. Y and Co engaged in real estate, conducted lucky dip, gave Maruti car worth 5 lakhs to prize winner. TDS not applicable, correct? Hey, car ra. 5 lakhs into 30%, 1,50,000. Advertisement company paid 5 lakhs to cricketer Peter for England for working in an advertisement film. यार रहा है मैं advertisement आलू non-resident 20 point number is 5 lakhs into 20.8 1 lakh पुरीदा इल्ला फास्टा पोराना ABC Limited makes the payment of 1,50,000 to Ramlal, individual transporter, owned 6 goods carriage throughout the year, does not furnish the PAN number. TDS rate. Yenda. Does not furnish PAN. Does not furnish PAN. He has to satisfy both the conditions. Give the declaration, also furnish PAN number. Did not furnish PAN number. TDS rate. TDS rate 20%. If you do not give a PAN number, maximum rate of 20% will apply. Sarita paid 5,000 on 17th April to Srimati Deepa for deposit in National Savings Scheme. It's 10%. No. There is a section called 194EE, not a part of your syllabus. 194EE, not a part of syllabus. That's provision come and say NSC account la vechittu TDS ku you will deduct TDS at 10%. I think this question came about some 8 years back. I forgot to remove it. Ignore it. Mr. Marwa, aged 80 years, hold 6 and IOU. Seri parvala. Mr. Marwa, age 80 years old, 6.5% gold bonds of 2 lakhs, 7% gold bonds of 1980 of 3 lakhs, and receives yearly interest on these bonds on 28th February 2023. This is section 193. This is section 193. Normally, if you read section 193, that will come and say, boss, any kind of these kind of transactions will not be liable for TDS. Generally, hold. Generally, the section will come and say these will not be liable for TDS except for gold bonds. There they have come and clarified that, boss, if it is a gold bonds, and the If it is a gold bond and the interest on these gold bonds go beyond 10,000 rupees, then TDS is applicable. Okay, once in a lifetime question. It came somewhere 6 years back, I think 6 or 7 years back. Okay, once in a lifetime question. Worst of the questions. From exam perspective, it will not come. Going forward, it will never come. But okay, the provision is there. Provision says the interest should be more than 10,000 rupees. Multiply and tell me. 2 lakhs into 6.5% will give you 13,000. And 3 lakhs into 7% will give you 21,000. So both are liable for TDS at the rate of 10%. Therefore, add both, multiply by 10%. Number will become 34,000 into 3,400. Last question. Mr. AG Private Limited, MS AG Private Limited took a loan of 50 lakhs from Haridas. It credited interest of 79,000 payable to Haridas on previous year 21-22 on 31st March 2023. Mr. AG Private Limited is not liable to tax audit. TDS will apply. Yeah, ma. Why no TDS? Who is subject to tax audit? Who is the deductor? In the provision, who is subject to tax audit? Individual and HUF. Who is the deductor here? Company. Who is the deductor here? The deductor is a company, not an individual or a HUF. So even if he is not liable for tax audit, he still has to follow the provisions of 194. Okay, clear? Yes. Balance questions are very small questions. We'll do tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. Balance questions, small questions. We'll do it tomorrow. Okay. We'll start with these 4 questions. Then we'll do the updated return provisions for half an hour, and then we'll go into. With that, we'll end the batch. Yes. Thank you, people. Have a good day.